Hi, everybody. It's Gene Simmons, and you're not, and you're listening to the Potter Than Hell podcast with Steve, BC, BB, and Dylan. But you knew that, didn't you?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Potter Than Hell podcast. This is your last stop on the crazy train of hard rock and heavy metal. So sit back, buckle in, and hang on. Here we go.
Hello, Potter Than Hellions. Welcome back to the Potter Than Hell podcast. This is Steve, your host, and I am joined this week by
BC.
And our keyboard player this evening is
Dylan.
And BB is on assignment, so he will not be joining us this evening. However, we do have his list. And this is going to be part one of our 2021 wrap-up. We're going to go over our albums of the year. We're going to go over talk about some shows we went to, the very few amount of shows that we went to, and some live albums, and whoever knows what the fuck else.
I do have to say, even though BB's not here, he is written on this Corona Light bottle.
All right.
Says BB.
It does say BB. And
so he's here in spirits.
He's here in spirits. Yep, absolutely. See, Dylan's got better eyes. I just squint to see that with my reading glasses on. But welcome back, everybody. Hope everybody's doing good out there. Hope everybody had a good Thanksgiving. I'm not even sure when this is coming out, so happy belated Thanksgiving, everybody. And what did we do last week? We did
Ted Nugent.
We did Ted Nugent last week with Steve and Michael. It was myself, Dylan, and Steven. Stephen, thank you for coming on. It was always fun doing some Priest stuff with you. We did with Ted Nugent, which is the first time that we've done a Ted Nugent episode here, and so that was kind of cool too. And that's another one we could think of too for that other thing, BC. So it was fun. Stephen had some good stuff. We pulled out. We had some deep tracks in there. We had some of the other albums from Ted, and it's weird too because like I haven't really listened to that. Like the albums like Penetrator and Nugent and If You Can't Lick 'Em, Lick 'Em. I haven't heard them albums in fucking years. And there's some duds on some of them. There are some duds, and a lot of it is very, very 80s and un-Ted like. But there's some cool shit in there too. There was the soloing is still really good, and I enjoyed a lot of it. Like I said, some duds on there, but there's some duds on the 70s stuff too. To be honest with you, some songs that I think kind of suck. So, what'd you think about the Ted there, Dylan?
And there's a lot of duds in his nowadays stuff.
Yeah, there's some there. He's putting out I guess he's got an album coming out next year too.
Oh, great.
Yeah, I know you're looking forward to it.
Yeah, I'll buy it release date. No, but I think the thing that I had the most fun with that episode was finding out that Meatloaf did a lot of vocals on Free For All before Bad Outta Hell came out. So that was a really cool discovery for me, and I actually quite liked a lot of those songs, so it was a really fun way to figure that out. And like I said, I like Ted's playing. He's a good guitar player. If you can't say anything else nice about him, he's a good player.
Yep. What do you think? I know you weren't here, BC, but we did read your list though.
Oh, I mean, like you were just saying, a lot of those '80s albums. I mean, were different. I mean, there's good stuff and some not so good stuff, but it's a victim of the time. I think he was, and even vocally, I think he was very different in the 80s, or that's just the way it came off on the albums.
Yeah, and he had Dave Amato singing a lot of stuff then, too. Mm-hmm. So, and actually, that's the first time I saw Ted, was 86 for the Little Miss Dangerous tour. It's fucking awesome.
Little Miss Dangerous.
Great, and I actually saw him twice on that tour. Saw him once open up for Aerosmith up in Binghamton, done with Mirrors tour. Yes. And then I saw Rocky Glenn with Sabotage. Were you there?
No.
I always ask you that, and I always forget what you said.
I don't know why I wasn't.
That was great. And that was for the Fight for the Rock album for Sabotage. Fucking awesome. So once again, thank you, Stephen, for coming on. And I want to tell you guys that I told you a while ago that I recorded an episode with Uncle Steve's Iron Maiden Zone. That episode has since come out. I don't know if I've even mentioned it before because it's been so long since we've been recording because we banked a couple episodes. So he does Iron Maiden stories. Mine is number 30. Triple X, BC. It just worked out like that. I don't know. It's just weird. I did that with him, and actually I talked months ago. I think we recorded this episode in September. I did an episode with David Hudson and Ian Rice on the State of Amorica podcast, the Black Crowes podcast that they have. And if you guys are a Black Crowes fan, that is the Black Crowes podcast to go on. They've had band members on there. They have a ton of stuff. and they asked me to come on because they wanted to get someone that's not really a fan on their show to go over a playlist and see if I like the songs. And I know I mentioned it before, but I didn't want to say if I like the songs or not because I want everybody to listen. So go listen to the episode, and you will probably be as surprised as I was. But it was a great time with those guys. And it's weird because we were talking about it today. Spotify put out their list of the year or whatever when they go over your stats.
Spotify Unwrapped, it's
Unwrapped,
called.
what you listen to and the stats and everything. And I mostly use Apple Music because when we do playlists for this podcast, we always send it to each other in Apple Music. But when like we do a list with Sonny or we do one with the Shout Out Loudcast guys or Steven, the playlist is usually sent on Spotify. So, and for the Black Crowes episode, David and Ian David actually, him and Ian picked like the same amount of songs, and then David sent them to me on Spotify. So, how much I listened to that playlist was the Black Crowes came in as third for listening for the year for me on Spotify. So that's how little I listen to Spotify, because it's not my go-to. I have probably 20 playlists on my Apple Music and probably 30 on my Spotify, but I really only listen to the Spotify ones for an upcoming episode, and then it just sits there. So I really listened to that Black Crowes a lot because what they did was the only album that I knew anything from was Shake Your Moneymaker. When that first came out, their first album, it was really good. I even had it on cassette somewhere. I mean, that's long gone, but they dug deep, and they gave me some live tracks, and they gave me some different tracks that are popular with the like hardcore Black Crowes fans, and it was interesting. There's I got a lot of cool stuff on there. I was like, wow. Kevin Shirley produced one of their albums. And we were talking about it, and he said, and I said, this one's like a more rockin' song. And he goes, well, you know who produced that? And I'm like, who? And because I didn't look into what the album they were on, anything about them. So I just went in cold, and he said, Kevin Shirley. I'm like, oh shit, man, Maiden. And it had that more of a rock, heavier feel to it for the Crows. So I'm like, oh, well, that's his influence on that. Imagine if Andy Sneap produced them fuckers. That'd be fucking awesome. So check out Uncle Steve's Iron Maiden Zone. Not just for my episode, but he's got a lot of cool shows on there. Check out State of America podcast if you're a Black Crowes fan. Even if you just, I don't no idea why you want to listen to me again on another podcast, but it's actually pretty interesting of how that episode went down. And thank you guys again for having me on there. And since we've recorded last. And actually, today is December 1st, 2021, and Iron Maiden announced some North American tour dates. They are going to be touring with Trivium and In This Moment. And there's a couple dates around here, BC. What are we thinking? Or are you thinking it too, Don? What do you think, Don, BC?
Road trip, San Diego. Oh.
That's a sky trip.
I don't know. Iron Maiden anywhere is going to be great, so I'm up for anything. But
no.
There's only Philly?
Not even Philly. Newark.
No, Newark.
Newark, Washington, D.C., and like Boston maybe are the closest ones. Like up Worcester actually.
Next to Giant Stadium? That's not Newark, right?
No, that's
So I'm thinking
that's Rutherford. It's right off. I guess it's right off of Route 3 there that you zip right through because you drive past Newark when you're going to New York City. So. Like from the way we come. So, you never know. It could happen. And Judas Priest, they announced they're resuming the 50 years of heavy metal, whatever the tour that's called, with Queensryche. So and they're playing a couple shows around here. Of course, the closest show here, Dylan, is on your mother's fucking birthday again.
No, that's...
So she got to see kids for her birthday. She can see Priest and Queensryche too.
See Priest and Queensryche.
They're a little heavy for her.
She saw Priest before.
For her thing.
Yeah, she did.
Yeah, we were at Bethel Woods.
Yes, she did.
Deep Purple.
And
Deep
she was
Purple
mad
Priest.
because I had to leave her sit by herself. I went backstage and met the guys at Deep Purple. She wasn't happy about that. But we had great seats, though. We had split seats. We had seats up front and seats like kind of up a little further back on the side. It was a good show. And
Another tour
yeah,
that got announced. Foo Fighters.
Yeah, I would go to that. I would
Yeah.
go. Tickets are reasonable for general admission.
Yeah. And,
Saw them before. I could probably get knocked on my ass again.
and their merch is always affordable too, because it was $20 to buy a concert tee there, which
Yeah.
unheard of.
Unheard
And
of.
it was like an exclusive one for the venue.
I
It was-
like when they do
yeah,
that.
it
that was cool.
formatted
It was like
like
it was like Mets blue.
Yeah, it was like a Mets jersey, and it had Foo Fighters, and then like the number on the back was the year the tour was or something like that, and it was cool.
And had like the broken leg thing.
That was another one, the Broken Leg Tour shirt. I got both of those
The
because
Broken Leg
I'm like I budgeted to buy one concert T-shirt for $40, so I could buy two
Yeah.
for $20.
And I am warning you right now, City Field, you better have fucking Miller Lite.
No, it's at Lincoln Financial, the Philly show.
Oh, okay, well, because they're doing one as a City Field too.
Oh, it's one at City
yeah.
Field. Okay.
Yeah. So if we go there, you better be prepared for me, fuckers. And a lot going on since we've recorded last. The Kiss Destroyer box set came out for some people, and tons of people bitching. I was one of them, because when bands put stuff out, especially like Kiss, because they do a lot of exclusive stuff, so you don't know if it's going to be available somewhere else, so you order it right away. So they're boom, they take your money in a fucking heartbeat. But it was supposed to be out, I think, on the 19th, maybe 19th of November, and then no one's getting them. I bitched. I sent an email. Within 10 minutes, they sent me an email back that your item has shipped. I'm like, really? Like at fucking 4 o'clock in the afternoon, they shipped my fucking box. and they gave a tracking number. But of course, when you hit the first tracking number, it just says that a label's been made, created for you. A lot of people, our buddy from Tom from Charlotte Outcast, he canceled his box set and he bought it on Amazon and had it right away. The same thing with there's a regular vinyl version, and there's a colored vinyl version with it's got like a red and a yellow one, and that's the one I got. But if you had sent that thing in and they said that it shipped, you couldn't get a refund then because they said it was already on the way. So I'm like, okay, but mine came. I did get it. It came on the 27th, I think it came, which was like a week later, which, okay. But I didn't get a chance to, I got home, everything always comes on a day that I'm working. So it came the day I was working. I came home on a Sunday morning. Holy shit, it's here, open it up. But I didn't have time to really delve into it to get all the stuff. I'll show you later, BC. To get all the stuff out and check everything out. And I didn't even get a chance, because it has CDs in it, but I got the vinyl too. I got the red and the yellow vinyl. That came as well. They came in the same box, which I was happy. And those are cool. I got a chance to listen to some of the tracks, some of the bonus tracks. And it's funny, I was listening to it to hear if there was any difference. My wife and I were going down to see TSO, and I put Destroyer on. So she knows Detroit Rex. So I just put her right on. Detroit Rex City comes on. King of the Nighttime World comes on. God of Thunder comes on, right? And then Great Expectations starts. She's like, what is this? This sucks. I started laughing. So she kind of asked me to turn that off. So I'm like, all right. So, but which was even funnier on the way home, Tom and Zeus did an episode on the Elder, a review. So that came out on Saturday, the day we were going. So I listened to part of it before we left. So I put it on the way home. So I told her, I said, I'm going to put this episode on, and you're probably not going to know the song because they'll play clips from the song. I said, you're probably not going to know the songs because I don't play the songs because I'm not a huge fan of the Elder. And I had more of a fun time listening to my wife going, what the fuck is this? This sucks. Is this Kiss? Is this really Kiss? I was fucking dying. And of course, Tom and Zeus were hammering on a bunch of stuff too. And it was just so funny listening because my wife's like, I can't believe this is even Kiss. I'm like, neither can a lot of people. So that was fun too. TSO was fantastic. And one thing I did miss for the TSO show, they would always, Chris Caffrey and Joel Hoekstra, they would always come out. Each guy would come out each side and go up and go through the crowd. I think COVID put the kibosh to that. They didn't come out in the crowd and shit because we were right in the aisle where they would have came up. So I would have been like, yeah. But very cool. TSO, always a fantastic show. So I'm good for TSO for probably about another 3 years. Like once every 3 years for me is good. The show was good. I prefer when they rock. It's cool when the dude talks and tells the story and all this stuff. And he walked into the bar, And the guy's got a great voice. He's fantastic. But like, huh? Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Good evening. Like, he's got a fantastic voice for that. And Zach Stevens is on the East Coast one, BC. I'm like, BC be going fucking crazy. Fucking Zach Stevens, Russell Allen singing. So, I mean, great talent there.
I just read somewhere Dino
that Dino Jazulik.
Him
and Jeff Scott Soto, they're two of the East Coast or the West Coast guys. Yeah. Jeff played on drums. Johnny Lee Middleton is on the West Coast one, though.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they had some other guy.
Always was, I think.
Yeah, they had some other guy. So, TSO was really good. Once again, BC, I know you're disappointed. Ozzy has pushed back his tour dates with Judas Priest till 2023. Let the fucking man retire, please.
2023?
Like,
it's not 2022 yet.
I think he just got operated on, or he's getting operated on again. You know, don't make a commitment like that. Just say, listen, if he's feeling up to it, maybe we'll hit a festival show. You know what I mean?
How old is he? He's got to be, what, 70s?
He's in his 70s.
Yeah, I mean...
We can't make any money off of him, though, if he's not touring.
I'm telling you, fucking Shannon will have him hooked up in a hand cart like Hannibal Lecter.
Huh? Sharon.
Who would I say?
You said Shannon.
Shannon.
Sharon.
Sharon.
You're thinking of Shannon Tweed.
Yeah.
Same thing.
She will have him on a cart like Hannibal Lecter, wheeling him out on fucking stage if she can make a buck from him. But just like leave the man retire. Good Lord.
I saw
you know?
that and I was like, 2023?
Like, dudes, please. Like, come
that's
on.
over
like,
a
fucking
year away.
seriously. Yeah. So, like, don't commit to that. I mean,
gambling.
priests, they're old too. Don't you know? I don't know.
Unfortunately, all these bands.
I don't think I have anything else. New Black Label Society album is out as well.
I did not listen to it.
Did you listen to it all, Dylan?
I did, actually. That was going to be what am I listening to?
Okay, all right. We'll talk about that when we get to it then. All right. What are we listening to, Dylan? What are you listening to?
Well, actually, I was listening to a little bit of the Black Label Society, their new album. It is called Doom Crew Incorporated. I really like the second song, Destroy and Conquer. That song kicks ass. That's probably my favorite on the album. The rest of it's kind of hit and miss for me, but that song alone was fantastic. It's now one of my favorite Black Label songs. It kicks ass. It rocks. But I can't say the other songs are inching towards my top 10, but it's not a bad album. I think that song's really the one takeaway I got from it. But yeah, not too bad.
That it?
Yeah, that's
okay.
Besides like all the stuff
binging
tonight,
on all this shit here. How about you, BC? What do you got going?
I don't know. I've been doing a little bit of everything. I've gone back into older DT the past week. I don't know where that came out of. But,
nice. What albums?
Just like Train of Thought.
Oh, nice.
I always dug that. And
that's a heavy album.
That's probably like the first time I listened to that in probably about 8 years. Like the whole thing through. Just like a lot of Rat. I don't know why.
Me either.
They're good, man.
No, I know.
I mean, I never listened to it back in the day. I don't think I gave Rat enough because there's just.
You were just.
But
so
when you
much
listen
shit.
to a lot of that stuff nowadays, they were something more than I thought they were. But those days are gone. Other than that, no, just this magnitude of all over the board.
All right. And for me, there's an album that came out last week. It's called, the band is called Victory. The album is called Gods of Tomorrow. Very good. Melodic hard rock. Real good stuff. So I was checking that out. Listened to that a couple times. The new Exodus album, Persona Non Grata. I may talk about that in a little while. And still been binging on some Queensryche. Just been, since the Kiss Cruise, I've been rocking to them and Night Ranger still. I don't know. I can't get enough of them. You know, you get in that mode where you're just like super excited, and I've gone through the discography of my vinyl. I have up to Promised Land, and I picked up the Jeff Tate Queensryche album, the Frequency Unknown album. I was able to purchase the Conditioned Human album from some dude in fucking Europe, so I'm still waiting for that to come. So that I may see that in the springtime. The self-titled Queensryche album, the first one with Todd, got that. That's got some really good stuff on it. And The Verdict, the newest one, that one towards the end it kind of loses me. I don't know why. Maybe I need to give it a little more chance. And they just announced today that they're going to have an album out in early 2022 as well. So that's what we got going. Dylan's got some Black Label Society, Doom Crew Incorporated new album. As far as that goes, the other day, I'm like, all right, I'll just listen to some of it. So I throw shuffle play on, right? I put it on Apple Music, hit shuffle play. Boom, ballad. Fuck. All right, skip. Boom, ballad. What the fuck? Boom, next one. I'm like, what the? I'm like, is that something on this fucking album?
A lot of ballads.
so then I'm just like, you know what, fuck it, I'm going to put something else on. But I do like that song that you said. Divide and Conquer?
Divide and Conquer, I think
Divide
it's
and Conquer.
I'm scared of.
And the first song starts out slow, but then it gets going.
Destroy and
Solos
Conquer.
are Destroy and Conquer. Solos are fucking fantastic on that album. And it's like the typical. Some of them are the typical slower songs, and then he just fucking goes fucking crazy for the fucking solo. Fucking, I just love
Zach
it.
doesn't understand the assignment.
Yeah. So that's what we got going. I've got some Victory, Gods of Tomorrow, guys. Check that album out. It's new. It just came out. It's really good. The new Exodus album, Persona Non Grata, and Queensryche and Night Ranger still kind of binging on those guys. BC going back into some Dream Theater, Train of Thought album, scoping some Rad out. Dylan's got some BLS, Doom Crew Incorporated. So let's get into our kind of 2021 review. It was not looking good going into this year. We had all the COVID shit going on. There were no shows. Monsters of Rock Cruise was postponed a year. Actually, it was postponed. It was supposed to be in May, Memorial Day weekend, on just an island, and then the kibosh got put to that. Kiss Cruise 2020 was canceled. Finally, we got to go to it on this year. And concert-wise, did you see any concerts this year, Dylan?
I saw one local concert, and that was it.
Okay. BC, what'd you see? I know you saw Stone Temple Pilots. Jackal. We saw Accept. Yeah, I saw, of course, everyone on the Kiss Cruise, Accept, and I can't really think of anyone else TSO that I saw. It was just
Night Ranger.
Night Ranger, yeah, Night Ranger. That was the night you guys saw Stone Temple Pilots.
Except
I don't remember going to a show this summer. Nothing that I wanted to go to, anyways. Nothing around
Blue
here.
Oyster Cult. You saw
Blue Oyster Cult. Yeah, actually, me and Granza went to that. That was really good. Talk about a horrible freaking night that was. That sucked. It was about. It's actually about as warm right now as it was then that night, and that was in May. But there really wasn't, a lot of shows. Alice Cooper, his tour went, but they didn't play anywhere around here.
Yeah.
The closest they played was like 3.5, 4 hours away, and and of course it was a night that I was working. I believe the one night that they played in Long Island, I think, and the next closest one was out by Pittsburgh. So it was, it's kind of like we kind of got shot on that one because we could have saw Ace 2. We could have saw Ace do all of his covers. Ugh, God. Yeah, he's got to be talked out of that shit. And he's got another covers album coming out.
Volume 3.
Next year, Volume 3.
oh my god,
Like this year for concert was kind of a bust. Music-wise, album-wise, holy fuck, were there a lot of fucking albums out this year. I don't have a count tonight. I will have a count for the next one of the albums that I put into consideration. There's over 50. And I broke it down to like 20, and then I got it down to 10 like just the other day, and I'm still even thinking of switching. I mean, I won't at this point, but so it's just been crazy. What did you think of the year musically, Dylan? Like album wise?
It was. There were a lot of albums released by bands that I liked, but they weren't necessarily albums that I really enjoyed. Like some of them were a little bit of a letdown that I wasn't completely vibing with. I won't name names yet, but there were some big bands that came out with an album that I'm a big fan of, that they just didn't click with me. So
name the names.
In that sense, it was a little disappointing, but there were a lot of good albums both in format and out of format that I did really enjoy. I didn't put any out of format albums on my list, so you're welcome. But there were a couple albums that I thought were really fantastic, and some of my favorites from the artists that I really like. Those will probably be in the second part of this podcast. But I think there was a lot of good music for this being a time where there wasn't a lot of touring going on. Bands could kind of just hunker down and record stuff. And some bands used that to their advantage, and some bands squandered it a little bit. But just like any year, it had the good, it had the bad.
Okay. What about you, BC? What do you think?
I agree with Dylan. There's a few bands that you're like, oh yeah.
Yeah, you hear that they got an album coming out, and you're like, yes.
And then you listen to it, and you're like, But overall, I mean, they were, like I said, band should have been coming out because they had a lot of time the year before.
Yep.
But overall, it was not a bad year.
Yeah.
Not a great year for me, but not a bad year.
I thought it was a fantastic year. There's a ton of bands and albums and stuff that I never heard of, and there's probably no chance in hell that I would ever see these bands live, ever. But I thought there's a ton of shit, and I'll tell you what, and people that don't check out no music, you're missing out. I think you're really missing out. I've discovered, just since starting this podcast, I've discovered so many cool bands and stuff, and now I'm hungry for it. I want to hear something new, and we have between me and Steven and like Sonny will text me and BC, oh, you guys will love these guys.
Yes.
And there was one that he sent us, it was terrible. I forget what the fuck it was, like last week or the week before he sent us something, we're like, no. And I'm like, you think that I like this? I'm like, no, it's fucking terrible.
I don't think I got through the first song.
I didn't. I'm like, ooh, nah, that was no. But like, we'll do it. And Steven will send me a bunch of stuff because actually, I was literally listening to this Victory album, and Steven texted me, "Hey, check this out." I'm like, dude, I'm actually fucking listening to it right now. Mm-hmm. And I'll name some bands that didn't make some albums for you guys to check out if you haven't. Like, and it comes up on Apple Music. People that listen to this, do this and put this out. And a lot of them are, wow, that album cover looks cool. I'll check them out. So that's where I'm at for that. I think it was a great. There were some duds. There were some definite duds this year, but there were some fantastic stuff out there. Like it was tough to narrow it down, and it seems like it probably broke a record. If I went back and listened to last year's episode, I probably said almost verbatim the same fucking thing. But I love this stuff. I love the music. And the only bad thing about that for me is that we're getting to that point again, BC, the saturation point where there's a ton of good stuff coming out that I like, that the next week something else is coming out of a band that and you know what I mean, that you don't really get a chance to spend a lot of time with stuff. But I think it's been a good year overall. So we're going to do our 10 to 6, our albums. We'll name them. We'll talk about them a little bit. So we're gonna let Dylan go first.
Okay.
We'll go this way.
It was tough narrowing the list down to 10. There were a lot of albums that there were some tracks that I didn't like on some of them, so I couldn't, in good conscience, put them on my top 10. There were some albums that I didn't have enough time to. They didn't have enough time to incubate, so I really couldn't give them the listen that I wanted to put them on the top 10. And actually, there will be a couple of albums that you guys have on yours that would have made my top 10 had I been able to listen to it a little longer. But these were kind of the albums that jumped out at me that I really enjoyed and kept going back to after I listened to them. My number 10 is Black Veil Brides, The Phantom Tomorrow. This was probably one of the most recent additions to my list because it came out pretty...
Like 2 weeks ago,
Yeah, it came out October 29th, actually. And it's kind of a rock opera. They do concept albums a lot of times, but this one has there's some cool orchestral stuff in there, but for me, the guitar playing in the band really amped up on this album. The solos are really cool. Right off the bat with the first actual track, Scarlet Cross, during the solo part, the rhythm section does some really awesome stuff, and like I love when the rhythm does a really cool riff underneath an awesome solo, and that song had it in spades. But Scarlet Cross is great. Crimson Skies was another really good one. Shadows Rise I really liked as well. It's a really solid album. It gives you a lot of good songs to listen to. There's some good breathing room as well with some of the instrumentals that come in that are kind of like interludes that have the orchestral stuff in there. But I think it's a really well-paced album, and Black Veil Brides aren't really a band that I've been as into. I like some of their stuff, but I kind of get a little oversaturated with them at times because they kind of, when they first started out, they were shoved down your throat. Like, this is the neck, this is hard rock's coming back, and it's Black Veil Brides, and everybody kind of turned on them. Like, everybody hated them.
They became like the Nickelback of metal.
Yeah, they were the Nickelback of metal, basically. So I kind of
they're not.
No, they're not. They're not. But I kind of like the direction that they're going with this album. It's a really solid album from a band that I didn't really give too much of a fair shake originally. So, Black Veil Brides, The Phantom Tomorrow is my
And the
number
cover
10.
didn't seem like a Black Veil Brides
No,
album. Because
and
when
that's
I was
what-
going through Apple Music, I'm like, oh, Black Veil Brides. I'm like, I'll check it out.
Yeah, because their album covers are always kind of like 80s metal cheese
Right, yeah.
to them, but this one was a little different, and I was like, ooh, that's kind of different, and that's kind of what drew me in at the first glance.
Did you get a chance to check that out, BC, or no?
I have. I mean, like you. I mean, when these guys first came out, their first 2 albums,
We were right on them.
they were. I loved it. Then they lost me a little bit,
Yeah.
and I checked this out a few times. I mean, kind of like roller coaster for me, at least with this album so far. Maybe you just have to sit down a little bit more. But I mean, there's musical parts I'm like, there's other parts I'm like, they kind of.
Because there's some freaking shredding on this album.
Oh, God,
there's
yeah.
some really good soloing on this
And
album.
there's other parts that are just like.
Yeah.
But like I said, I've been off their ship for a little while.
Yeah.
But when they first came out, I was like, we were both like,
Yeah.
fucking yeah.
Well, because we went down to see Priest. We bought. I got that album that night. That and Steel Panther Balls Out. We listened to them on the way down to the Priest show with Black Label Society, and I think it was Thin Lizzy at the time that ended up being Black Star Riders. That's what we listened to on the way down, and it was really good. And I think it was World on Fire. Maybe I think the album was.
I think so.
I think it was like their second one. I think. But it was good, and I talked about these guys on one of the last episodes. Like I said, I'm kind of lost of where we are episode wise, what was talked about when.
I did see him play at the Sherman Theater.
Oh, did you?
No. the one guy.
They played there.
Yeah, he's on Facebook. He Facebook Live pretty much the whole show.
Mm-hmm.
It sounded good.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm like.
That's a good place for a show.
And I was looking at that, I was going, where the frig is this guy? It didn't say where he's at. It just said, so and so is live. Live. But no, it was good. It sounded good.
Yeah,
At first I didn't even know who it was because, like I said, Joe Blow is live, Facebook Live, and didn't even say where.
Right. Yeah, it just comes up live.
I was like, I watched the sound. It was pretty good.
All right, cool. Yeah, I enjoyed that album. I talked about that. Like I said, I talked about that a couple weeks ago. Good pick, Dylan. Dylan, BC, what do you got for your number 10?
Oh my God, I'm gonna go with and that one I keep going back to. Resurrection Kings with Sky Gazer came out in July of this year, and their first album was 5 years ago. So I thought these guys were done, and then they came out with this one in July. I think this one's a step up from their. I like the first one. I don't know what you thought of the first, but Greg Goldie. Back when he played in Jeffrey and Deal, I'll be honest, I was not on the Greg Goldie fan club. I was kind of like, Jesus Christ, really? I don't know why, but on the first Resurrection Kings and then this one, whew, he schooled me on this. I now bow down and say, I take that back, Greg. I'm sorry for saying all the things I said back in a few years, but his playing on this album, to me, it just blows my mind. If you really sit down and listen to it. And Vinny Peace drumming, his drumming was always from the Deal years. I don't know how to explain it.
He's a different type of drummer.
Different drummer. It's not just playing the beat, keeping the beat.
Not hitting the ones and twos.
It's
an odd,
very beat
cadence to his playing.
And his playing just stands out in this album so much. Between that and the guitar playing, and I don't even know who to play bass on this, to be honest with you. But Chas Swiss, vocals, I think, are even better on this than the first one. I just keep going back to this, and I don't think there's a skipper on it. So I had to throw this on there.
Yeah, Dylan, did you get a chance to check that out or no?
I listened to a couple tracks. I liked it. I think the vocals were not my favorite, but you're right. The guitar work on it is fantastic. It definitely is something to come back to just for the instrumental part.
If you look at the liner notes, it says "fuck you, PC." I'm like,
yeah, called you out.
And
I
you know
I
what?
deserve it.
And I wasn't a huge fan of Craig Goldie myself until we saw Dio at the Madison Square Garden when he did fucking Stargazer front to back. I was like blown away. And our buddy Stephen Michael Growing Up Rock, he did an amazing interview with Craig Goldie. So if you want to check that out, it goes into how he was friends with Dio, how he got into be in Dio, and how he became Ronnie James Dio's go-to guy. He was like like Yngwie would always go back to Jeff Scott Soto. So like it was like Dio would always go back to Craig Goldie because it was Vivian Campbell, Craig Goldie, and then it was Tracy G, Craig Goldie again. You know what I mean? Doug Aldrich, and then Craig Goldie again. So like he was his go back. You know, it's like the girlfriend you just can't fucking break up with. And I know where you're going, and I am too, because I didn't care for his stage presence. No, I thought he just kind of just stood there. But the dude can fucking play. He can fucking play. So, and that album's fantastic. And that was one, and I was surprised. I'm like, holy shit, I didn't hear anything at all about that album coming out. It was just there. And I'm like, holy shit, Resurrection Kings. I think I texted you, dude, like, fucking, it's out. And I remember when the first one came out, I rocked the shit out to that one. And this one, I'm like, wow. But you know what I liked about this one better than this band, more than Last in Line, the original, like Vivian Campbell, Vinny. The second album of Last in Line, I thought was bad. I didn't like it at all. It didn't catch me at all. It didn't seem like a step forward for that band. You know what I mean? It just didn't have that. Oh, you know what I mean? I'm not extremely fucking crazy about the first one either. The first one's really good, but I thought it could have been a lot better. A lot of mid-tempo stuff on it. But like this is what I wanted to hear. This is the stuff that I wanted to hear. It's got the more up-tempo stuff. It's got the soloing. It's very good. If you like Dio and stuff like that, check this fucking album out.
The solos in Worlds on Fire and Fight Against Pride. I mean, he makes me bow my head down. I take all those words back.
All right. So, Resurrection King, Skygazer. Boy, I wonder what they were going for there. And my number 10
is... This one's going to be called The Guy on the Gray Hill.
The Guy on the Snowy Hillside.
It's
all right.
The Guy on the Snowy Hillside.
And my number 10, I talked about these guys. I was just listening to the first. And the only reason this one is number 10 is because it only came out a week ago. Exodus. Persona non grata. This, by light years, blows away the last fucking Exodus album. I am not a huge fan of Steve Zetro or whatever the fuck he's called. I am still a Rob Dukes guy. But this album, for me, is so fucking good that I can get past his vocals. There's some friggin' insane riffing on here. The songs are... And there's even parts that, like, I actually like the way he sings the song. Just absolutely kick-ass fucking album. This is one I was waiting... Actually, this is one, BC, that I've been waiting for on vinyl. I still haven't fucking received it yet.
It's out there somewhere.
Title track's like it opens up with a 7-minute song. Fucking fantastic. Time changes, crazy ripping solos. The next song, REMF, which means rear echelon motherfucker. It's a military term about all the people that are behind the lines when the other dudes are up there fighting. Fucking crazy. I played this, I think I played the chorus for you yesterday, BC Slipping into Madness. Great gang vocal. Slipping into Madness. Fucking fantastic. Song called, and this song's for you, BC. The beatings will continue until morale improves. Okay, fucking fantastic. And then there's another song towards the end of the album that really stood out for me. It's called "Lunatic Liar Lord." Fucking fantastic. If you want to flip this fucking table, this is Get a Pit Together and Beat the Fuck Out of Each Other album. Absolutely love it. I don't know if any of you guys got a chance to check any of it out. Did you, BC?
Yes.
What'd you think?
Love the music. Vocally, I can't do it.
He's tough. He's tough. He's tough. I mean,
the solo, like you said, is fucking like just the fucking but I don't know if it's his vocal.
I don't know if it's the tone or what, but I can actually get past on this album. The last album there was like 2 songs that I like. This one,
I musically really got into this album. Like you said, there's the aggression, the solo, and it's fucking off the scales. But vocally, I can't. Sorry, I don't know what it is. I know, and usually music like this, the music carries it.
It does. Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
Vocally is the only downfall of the album.
Yeah.
To me, I guess.
I like on some of the songs the cadence of the verses, and it's like, man, I can picture Rob Dukes killing this shit, fucking killing it. Have you seen Gary Holt lately? Like a picture of him lately? Dylan's got like a Gary Holt thing going on there with the beard and the hair, doesn't he?
I can see.
I'm just saying. What do you think, though?
I'm just gonna say you've never seen me and Gary Holt in the same room at the same time.
I have not. That's true. That's true.
If this album came out like a month earlier, it would be on my top 10. This album kicks ass.
Yeah, that's why it only fell in 10 for me.
Yeah, I love it. It's fantastic. I like the vocals. The time changes on this album.
Some of the same.
The thing that I love most about thrash metal is the time changes, and these guys always know how to fucking nail
Gary
it.
Holt is the master of that.
They are like they deserve to be in the big four of thrash, in my opinion. Exodus is great. This is probably one of my upper albums from them because I really liked what I heard from it, and it's just like you're just like finding it. It's one of those albums where you're just like your head banging along as you listen to it. You're like yes. And you just want to keep. It's like a bag of popcorn. You know, you just want to keep eating it and you just want to keep listening. And yeah, Exodus is like Anthrax for me. They can do no wrong. So I really liked it. I wish it came out earlier to put it on my list.
They need to do like Dream Theater did, release a Train of Thought on vinyl.
Yeah,
but with no lyrics. It's just the music.
Oh, that'd be cool. You could do your own karaoke to it. That'd be fucking awesome. And it's funny too because my buddy Vinny Folletti from the Podcore Metal on Metal podcast and the I Love It Loudcast, he messaged me, I think 2 days after this came out, and he's like, dude, I'm dying to know what you think of the new Exodus album. And I'm like, it's fucking awesome. And he's like, I was hoping you'd say that. I think it's fucking great too. So if you like Exodus and all that shit, listen to Vinny and his buddy Cool Burn. They do the Podcore Metal on Metal podcast. And Gary Holt, they got Gary Holt to do the bumper for them. He opens the show for them. It's fucking awesome. Really cool. So definitely check those guys out. Podcore Metal on Metal podcast.
And it was like it was the first album that they had come out with since 2014. So
I know.
It's a good return to form for sure.
Well, because Gary Holt was in Slayer all that time. So
yeah, that's true.
He was
he was filling in for Kerry King.
So all right, cool. Yeah. Let's Dylan, why don't you read BB's number 10?
Yes, BB's number 10 is Circus of Rock with Come One, Come All. I listened to a little bit of it. It was okay. Not my thing. I think maybe the production was what got off on me. I never heard of these guys before.
I had these guys as a either a hidden gem or a what am I listening to?
That might
months ago.
So I might have heard of them, but I had not heard that. It was okay.
Yeah.
It wasn't my cup of tea.
Did you get a chance to listen to that?
Yeah, I like it. I mean, I read about them. Did you, like you said, you used them on a gym maybe or what am I listening to? I need to listen to a little bit more, but so far what I heard, I enjoy it.
Yeah, I enjoyed that album. I thought it was cool. It had some different stuff on it.
Eclectic.
Is it a band?
I think so.
Or is it the guy?
But I don't know. It seemed like there were a lot of guests, like featuring this one or that one on it.
That's
so
what
I don't know.
I was wondering.
I haven't. I only listened to the album. I didn't really check into the band themselves to see how it was. So that's number 10 for BB. So what do you got for number 9, Dylan?
My number 9. My number 9 is another thrash band. Well, not thrash, but they're a heavy. They're not a thrash band. My number 9 is a classic heavy metal band. Came out with their album the first month of the year, January 29th. Accept with Too Mean to Die. Accept and Andy Sneap can do no wrong. They have been on a streak since Blood of the Nation came out back in the day. I think that they none of the albums have missed for me. Like they've always been in my top of the year because they know how to write a catchy chorus with the gang vocals. the vocals from Mark Tornello are just fantastic. He fits in the band so well. This is the first time Phil Schaus is in the band, like on an album, which is really cool to hear. And Martin Motnick is now on like coming in on bass, replacing Peter Baltes.
Peter Baltes. Yeah.
But like this is a really good chugging album. Great album opener with Zombie Apocalypse. I love the title track. Overnight Sensation. I don't like that they name check the Kardashians, but the chorus is catchy as hell. It's very much that accept chorus that you go do for the band. I love The Undertaker. That's a moody song that has some cool build to it. Sucks to Be You is a real fun like fuck you song. I love that energy from the band. It's just like I can gush over this album. It's so good. Not My Problem's another really good one. Good fast paced rocker towards the end of the album, and they ended off with an instrumental, Samson and Delilah. Not expecting that, but the guitar work, the soloing, phenomenal. These guys know how to do the gang vocals, and I love Mark Tornello's voice. He fits the band like a glove. It's very good album. Number 9, Except Too Mean to Die.
All right. BC, what do you got to say about it? Are you reserving comments?
Love. I mean, ever since they came back out with 2010's Blood of the Nations.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, to me, they've been getting better and better.
Yeah.
Yes.
Fantastic.
Putting out top quality shit. I'm not going to go too much into this, but Except, I mean, and
There we go.
Like I said, they've been nonstop since 2010 with their albums, just getting better and better.
Yeah. I'll reserve commentary on the album itself for another episode. But what I will say is they pulled this shit off fucking fantastic live.
Oh.
It was the first time I got to see Accept with Mark. I've seen them 3 times before with Udo, but like that was Metal Heart and Russian Roulette. I got to see them 2 tours with him. Have not seen them since. Been dying to see them with Mark since 2010. We talked about Blood of Nations, fucking fantastic album. They have not,
Got to beat him.
Yeah, we got to meet Mark after the show. Very cool, really humble guy, and put a pair of sunglasses on him. He looks like my brother-in-law. With a hat. But they pulled it off live, and you do not miss Udo at all. He does the classic stuff fantastic. The new stuff is on par. I like this newer stuff probably more than the classic catalog personally. Mm-hmm. I mean, there's songs like London Leather Boys, You Can't Do Without, Fast as a Shark, Restless and Wild, fucking Princess of the Dawn, shit like that. Mark does them kick ass. So I won't really get into the album because, like I said, you may hear about that down the road here a little bit. But great fucking fantastic pick, Dylan. BC, what do you got for number 9?
Number 9.
It came from Planet 9.
I'm going to go with and again, there's no really order I put any of these albums in. I just reach into a bucket and pulled out a piece of paper. KK's Priest, Sermon of the Sinner. I mean, when this first said he's coming out with the band, you're like, oh, okay, cool. You know, little KK's getting back into rock. But then I forget what they released first.
It was the Hellfire Thunderbolt.
Hellfire Thunderbolt.
Yeah, so that came out and I was kind of like a little trying too hard, I thought, and I was kind of at first I was turned off by it because there's too much like that. He's trying way too hard to be a priest. I mean, I'm sorry, and I mean, even music, I was totally turned off by that. But I said, you know what, I'm gonna get it when it comes out because I'm that fucking idiot. And I remember putting this on. It's like. I'm like, I after listening to it once, I put it back on, and I put it back on a third time. I'm like, damn.
It clicked.
It clicked. I mean, this is just metal. I mean, the solo on the title track. I mean, Brothers of the Road to me stands out. Wild and Free. I mean, just the shredding us. Oh my god. I mean, I was again eating my words, but from when I first the first single came out, I was not down with it. I was just like, oh my, he's trying too much to be like you can sing on your own. Don't try to be somebody else. But the rest of the album, it just I had to put it in my top 10 because I listened to it this past week. I just throw it on there and I don't think there's a skipper on the tune, even the slower tune.
All right, KK's Priest. I am on the BC train on this one. I really, this album, I'll do my pick now too because I moved mine around a little bit because I really have the only real order that I have for my albums are the top 5, the bottom, the bottom 5. They could be interchangeable. So I'll go
I agree with that.
I'll go with Priest on this one. And actually, I was listening to this right before we came up, and I was with BC when we talked about it on here. We talked about it. We're like, dudes, like, what the fuck? Like, what are you doing here? But then I don't know if it's just in the context of the album, but there's a couple things I really like about this album. There's times where Rippers sings too high for too long, I think, on some of the stuff.
A little bit.
But I can live with that. But what I like about it is it's not just KK tearing it up. There's him and, I'm sorry, other guitar player guy that I don't really know not really know your name. I don't know your fucking name. This guy kills it too. And it's two different tone guitars. They each kind of have their own style. They're like a Tipton KK thing going on there, you know? And I like the differentness. And what I really like about this album is the drums are not Scott Travis cloned. It has a different drum tone. The guy has a different, you could tell he's got a different style. He's got a good mix of the solidness of Dave Holland and the double bass shit of Scott Travis, but it's not either one. He's kind of in the middle there. And the drum sound is, if it had the same drum sound as like Painkiller, I'd be like, no fucking way. But it doesn't. It's got more of a, I don't know, it's I like it for it's not Scott Travis-ish. But the fucking, so, like, lyrically, whatever. They're fucking just, they're metal songs. You know what? They got the cheese to them, but
this is one album that I put on. I don't even hear the lyrics.
No.
Just the music,
like I'm singing the choruses and shit.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm getting to know the lyrics because I've been listening to it so much. But I'm just like, you know what? Fuck it. Like, Santo Dia Diablo. Fuck it. I'm singing that. I'm singing fucking metal through and through.
I like the way it opens.
There's one part, and I think it's Brothers of the Road. I think there's a middle part. No, I'm sorry. In Metal Through and Through, there's like a lull in the one part of that song that I think is horrible.
Yeah.
But it doesn't fit.
No.
But thank God it's only like a minute long, so then you're right back into it. But like Wild and Free, Hail to the Priest, fucking fantastic, and I love it. I would go see these guys in a fucking heartbeat.
Oh god, yeah, I love the way it opens up to it. That classic.
It's got the chanting and stuff like that. Now, and that's another thing. That's how you do a fucking intro. It's not just like moody guitar and shit. You got it sets the theme of the album up, and that's an intro that I like. What do you think, Dylan?
Yeah, I was definitely one of those people that I ended up liking the album more than I thought I would from the initial single. And I think you're right. It works better in the context of the album. Like, when you hear it as their first, this is what we are, it just feels like they're trying too hard. But with the rest of the album, it makes sense. I think it very much sounds like a 90s Priest meets some classic Priest feel to it. And I do enjoy it. The instrumentals of the song are fantastic, but the lyrics, it's KK with the chip on his shoulder.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
For sure.
And you know what I kind of thought of also, that this would be like what maybe fucking Ram It Down would kind of sound like if you didn't have the electronic drums.
Yeah, if you had a metal production to it.
Yeah, instead of that, whatever the fuck that ended up being.
Yeah.
A little tinge of that maybe. But
I could see that.
But
there's a lot of great songs.
And that's another vinyl album that took fucking forever for me to get. But it finally came. It came. And actually I complained and they said, we're sorry. They at least apologize, say, please have some patience, it's coming. And it was. And that was one of them that I could have bought in the store as well. I've seen it in the store. The KKs. I've seen that down at the gallery. But you know what? Not that I don't want to support my local business, but I like to support the band as well, if I can.
You gotta support the team.
Support the team. What's that for? For the team. All right, so me and BC, like I said, mine are that my bottom 5 could fall anywhere. So I figured there's no sense to talk about it now. I'll talk about another album and talk about it later.
Yeah.
So I figured I would throw it in there now.
Way to pull an audible.
Thanks, buddy.
Way to make
Omaha,
the episode flow a little more naturally.
See, I usually don't do shit like that.
I know. I'm proud of you.
What's BB got for number 9?
So BB's number 9. Of course, we can't go an episode without either you or BB cheating. So BB put out a compilation album as his number 9. Jeff Scott Soto with duets. I will say the one thing this album has going for it is the very first song is a fucking Steel Dragon song, baby. Living the life. Great. Love it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, living the life.
Yeah. I know what you mean.
Live. Great song. Love it. But I like Jeff Scott Soto. He's got a great voice. We have a guest on constantly that has a restraining order that Jeff Scott Soto has put out against
Absolutely.
him. So, we can't
we won't mention his name, but his initials are Sonny Pony.
We legally cannot talk about Jeff Scott Soto in a negative way, lest we get harassed and
Yeah.
And
Well, I get
her-
harassed daily by him.
Well,
anyways,
yeah, but
so.
the rest of us
Yeah.
are safe, so we want to stay safe.
Yeah.
So I won't say anything negative about Jeff Scott
I'll
Soto.
take the brunt for you guys. I think Jeff Scott Soto's fantastic. I honestly have not listened to that album. Have you listened to it, BC?
Yes,
What do you think? Sorry for skipping you.
Jeff Scott Soto. I mean, hey, I threw this on. I mean, I gave it a fast scope. I mean, like you said, he has a lot of guests on it. But
Well, that's why it's called duets.
duets. I mean, go figure. But I mean,
It's a
Is
compilation
there a
of
lot
all
of,
his
slow stuff on there?
couple two tree.
couple two.
See, that's
three.
why I didn't even try it.
No, come on.
But I
mean,
will listen to the Steel Dragon one though.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's the very first song. So
Very first song. So
you just put it on.
Now, does he sing that with the dude from Steelheart?
It's with let me look.
Matilo Minkovic or whatever.
No,
his name is?
it's with somebody else.
good.
Let's see.
That's Sonny's other love interest.
Yeah,
Oh,
I mean
really?
he's got a
remember,
fantastic
remember we
voice.
stocked him
His
on the
voice
on the
is-
cruise.
His voice is soaring. It's with Erica Martinson.
Oh, okay, from Eclipse.
Yeah.
Okay.
The other guy, kill his name. I tried.
Matilo Minkovic, I
And
think.
Dino's on
Dino's
Don't Let It
on-
In.
Dino's on it. Yeah. Okay.
Eric Martin's
Oh,
on
Don't
there.
Let It In. Is that the Yingve song?
Maybe. It might
Probably is.
it could be the Stick song from
I doubt it. I doubt it.
Yeah, Dean Castronovo's on a song.
Dean. Okay.
He's
all right.
he can fucking
Eric,
sing.
Eric
that.
Martin, Russell Allen.
He's got pipes.
They got all of Terrence Siberian
Maybe
Orchestra's
I'll have to check
vocalists.
that out.
From what I listened
I'm still
to,
not letting BB out the hook though.
from what I listened to it, it's all right.
It's not bad.
I mean, I like Jeff Scott solos.
I do, too.
His solo stuff, and way back, even what had to be the '80s, the Eyes.
He's definitely got a
Eyes,
voice
90s,
yeah.
that you love it or you hate it.
Yeah.
And we're in the love it bracket.
And even if Sonny loves him, I still
let it slide.
like him. Yeah.
We'll hold against it.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. So number 8, Dylan. What do you got?
Yeah, number 8. So my number 8 pick, this one is one that me and BC were talking about the past couple of weeks. It came out October 22nd, so it's probably the second most recent of the albums on my list. Dream Theater with a View from the Top of the World. Dream Theater's last couple albums, with Distance Over Time and this one, have been a lot more accessible, I think. They're not as heady as the albums before it, and I don't know if that's because of Mike Mangini's influence and Mike Portnoy's influence being taken out like more and more. But I'm not one to speculate. But the album is actually like really accessible to people that don't listen to Dream Theater. I think The Alien is a really good opening song. I love Sleeping Giant. That's a great song. Invisible Monster has some really cool parts in there. The last song, A View from the Top of the World, is the big opus, the 20-minute song. But I don't even think that it feels like its length, which is a really important thing for Dream Theater, because sometimes you could feel the length. Like, you listen to 6 Degrees of Inner Turbulence, the last song's 40 minutes long. That's a whole album.
Yeah.
But
They outrushed Rush.
Yeah, they did. But I think that this is a really solid album from Dream Theater. A lot of awesome instrumental parts. James LaBrie does sound great. It's clear that he's been put on vocal rest, and he's back with a vengeance, and I really appreciate that. But like the band, they gel in a studio format. Sometimes it doesn't hit as well live, but in a studio format, these guys are on it, and it's a really solid album, I think, from a really fantastic band. So Dream Theater, A View from the Top of the World.
This has got to be on your list somewhere, BC, right?
Yeah, so I'm not gonna go too crazy
Okay,
about
yeah.
it, but I agree with Dylan. I mean, I liked ET since they first came out, and their first album, Images and Words, were very, to me, commercial for Dream Theater.
Compared
After
to where they went.
Compared to where they've been throughout the years, and I guess that some of their songs, you're like, and there's times I can't listen to it. There's times it's
You gotta be in the mood for it.
You gotta
Yeah,
be in the mood for it.
for
It's
sure.
It's not just, hey, let's throw some DT on and
Yeah.
head to the beach.
Yeah.
You're not gonna do that. But
They're not a party band.
they're not a party
There'll be an
band.
empty circle around you by about like 40 yards.
Yeah, that's a great way to clear off the beach.
Yeah, that's true.
But the last album and this album, if I was, hey, Steve, check out this album, you'll probably be like, all right, yeah. If I told you to check out so-and-so, you'd be like, nah, no thanks. Because some of it can be overwhelming.
Yeah.
And with that, I will take your advice, and I will actually listen to this album. I haven't had a
You
chance.
haven't listened to it?
No, I heard The Alien when it came out. I really liked it. I thought it was good. I didn't think it was too crazy.
Yeah.
But
You know what?
for some reason, I didn't get a chance to listen to the rest of the album.
Because it feels like...
But I will listen. I will listen to that album between now and the next time we do part 2 in 2 weeks.
And I can understand why you don't listen to it, because like when you think Dream Theater, you're like, okay, this is going to be like...
I get
I
that.
gotta commit to it.
I get that Weezer feel.
Yeah, where it's like,
And then when you see a song that's 20 minutes long, you're like, oh, God.
you're just like dreading it. I can absolutely understand that. You're like,
Oh, yeah.
I need to put time like aside to dedicate to this album.
gotta
But I feel
clear
like
my
this
mind.
album doesn't have that as much as the other albums.
Well, because and I got to be honest, the last one didn't either.
yeah,
I
exactly.
really
This is
liked
over
the
time.
last one. The last one was really good. So,
Like we said,
if you
yeah.
guys, the DT guys, say that it's like
Oh, no.
in the same vein of the last album, I will,
Absolutely.
and I will listen to it between now and
And
then.
I was surprised because I figured, okay, they did that. Because usually they don't do.
Yeah,
Right.
I was figuring it'd be
they very
something-
much feel like
Right. Not the same feel for 2 albums in a row.
they feel like sister albums.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
In a way.
And it doesn't seem like you get that from them.
Yeah.
Seems
No,
like they,
no.
because when they did the one we went to see live, what was
The
the fuck was that
Astonishing.
called? The Astonishing.
I think honestly
People
that
fucking hated that.
I
I
think-
thought it was cool.
That's great.
I think that's why we're getting this kind of thing right now.
They're probably
Is
like, we need to settle
they're
down
a
with this
little
shit.
gun shy because of the Astonishing. I think
that
that's
was
my
fun.
theory, at least. That like they went the full rock opera and everybody
They got it out of their system.
they didn't really go for it, so they're like, okay, let's get back to the basics. And
Turn it down a notch.
yeah.
All right, BC, what do you got for number 8?
Oh, number 8. I think I talked about these guys this year. Or used them as a gym or what am I listening to? And I've seen these guys years ago. The Treatment from Britain. Classic Britain hard rock. Waiting for Good Luck. It's their 5th album. It's their 2nd album with Tom Rampton on vocals. Which back when I saw him at Montage, there was the old vocalist. I mean, this is just straightforward hard rock. Like no fancy shit, no nothing. Just full good riffs with the vocals. This guy's very good. I mean, usually when you replace a vocalist, it's usually not. You know what I mean? After you first get in the band, you usually always look back at that first guy. I mean, in Iron Maiden, that was not the case, and in this band, it's not the case. I like the background harmonies and the choruses and the guitar solo in this album. I mean, it's just standouts for me on this album would be "I on You," "Rat Race," "Lightning in a Bottle." I think he's talking about drinking some kind with a woman. I don't know.
Terrible.
And "No Way Home." But I don't think there's a bad song on this album. You put it on, you
Crank it
again,
up.
you find yourself
Pop it along.
bopping along with it. I mean, these guys are underrated. Unfortunately, will we ever see them in the United States?
Probably not.
Probably not.
They're touring now with Massive Wagons, I think.
Yeah, but
I love those guys. I think they're fucking great. And I gotta tell you honestly, I did not listen to this album all the way through until today.
really,
This would be in my fucking top 10 easy. But although I'm like, I don't know what the fuck I would kick out of my top 10.
oh yeah. I mean,
Fucking fantastic. If you like hard rock and AC/DC, if you like Airborne, these guys, that's it.
Straightforward
It's
rock.
straightforward hard rock, great rhythm, guitar playing, great band underneath the soloing. The solos are great. It's fantastic. If you just like straightforward hard rock, no keyboards, no fancy fuck around 10-minute songs, 3.5 to 4.5 minute songs. Fucking this album just
can they
there's
pull it off live?
like 13 songs on here with one piano version of a song, which I skipped that one. I gotta be honest with you.
That's like a bonus track.
And it's not even 50 minutes.
No,
So it's probably a 45-minute album. It's in, it's out. It fucking rocks.
Love it.
And this is one I'm gonna be getting into more as I go. And the last one was fucking fantastic too. So I didn't check them out because I didn't really have the fucking time to. But I wanted to give an album that each of you guys had on their list to give a listen to today if I had a chance to do that. And this was the album of BC's that I got a chance to listen to that I hadn't before. Fucking fantastic album.
Yeah, I fucking hate the album cover.
Yeah, it's stupid.
I think it's the worst album cover of the albums we're talking about tonight. Love the album though.
Yeah,
the album
cover's
itself
fucking stupid.
kicks ass. Like
The
these
title's
guys,
not too great either.
These guys are a solid rock band. They have songs that are catchy as hell. Great riffs. I love the vocals in it. It's a fantastic album, and it just missed my top 10 for sure.
Vocally has that.
Yeah,
But
it's
not-
perfect
it's-
for the songs.
For the songs.
It's perfect for the songs.
Too raspy, but he has.
Yeah, like they feel like they could come from the South. Like it feels like they're like a Southern rock, American rock band that you could just see playing with like Blackstone Cherry or like shit like that, and like doing really well at like at a festival. And I would love to see them live. They kick ass. This is a really great album. Really good pick. It missed my list just barely, but fantastic. Don't let the album cover fool you, people. Ignore the album cover and listen to the album, because the rest of the album is fantastic.
All right. So give us BB's number.
Sure. So BB's number 8 is Rough Cut with 3. I could not find this album on Apple Music, so I did not listen to it.
It's not. It's only on CD.
Well, how the hell am I supposed to do research? Come on, BB.
I don't know if he has this or not.
How the hell are you supposed to listen to it?
I have it on CD. I bought the CD, so I'll trust her on this one. But and I can't really comment on it. I listened to it once all the way through, and I think I liked it. It wasn't rough cut of the 80s, that's for sure. No, I mean, nothing is anymore. But I don't... Paul Sorrentino still sounded really good from what I remember, but I don't really have enough to comment on it. I don't know about you, BC.
I got the CD, and it's good. I mean...
I didn't hate it.
No, it's Paul Sorrentino. He still got it. I mean, maybe not as good as he did back in the day, but he still has it. But who does? But overall, I mean, it's an enjoyable album, I thought.
All right.
It just missed my list. It was in my hulk of albums.
I just didn't... And the thing for me is I don't have a lot of time to listen to just CDs. You know what I mean? Because I don't have a CD player in the vehicle anymore. And literally, there's an album that I think you're going to be talking about later that's been just constantly in my wife's CD player when I'm in the car. And but I don't know about that one. So, like I said, I listened to it a little bit. So my number 8 is... I have no idea where these guys are from. Sonny Pooney brought these guys up to me last year. They had an album out last year, and it was called Revenge. And it's like a trilogy of albums. The band is called War Kings. The first album was called Reborn in 2018. Last year the album was Revenge. This year the album is called Revolution. I fucking absolutely love these guys. They are such... If you like any kind of power metal at all, like Hammerfall, Halloween, like heavier, fast Maiden shit, that's these guys. I'll tell you what. I've probably listened to this album, and it's short too. It's only 41 minutes long. I've probably listened to this album probably 20 times this year. I think it came out in the summertime. It's War Kings, Revolution, songs like Sparta, We Are Sparta. I guess you could call them, I don't know, Roman metal or whatever the fuck. Song Spartacus, Eva Roma, song about Vikings on here. But I'll tell you what, this song, the guitars are so crunchy. The vocals there's gruff vocals, not like very little of it. The background vocals are like gang, like you would picture like on 300, Dylan, when the troops are advancing, like shit like that. Fucking this, I don't know if you guys listen to this album or not. This album fucking just kills it. What do you think, Dylan? I don't know if you guys listen to it at all.
Yeah, I listened to a little bit of it, and it is heavy. I love how, like, I listened to that first track and I'm like, okay, I'm really gonna like this. So I have to delve into it a little more. But I think this is a band that I could really get into, because they have that power metal sound, like you were saying, that really just fits with the songs that they're singing.
And the guys' vocals are fucking
perfect.
fantastic.
They're perfect for the subject, for sure. I love the theme that they have Like I was looking, like each one is based off of like a different warrior through time. Like there's like kind of a
like from the Crusades.
Yeah, the Crusades, and there's a Spartan warrior and stuff like that, which is really kind of cool theming. A really cool gimmick, especially with the subjects that they're going with. And it seems like they do them justice. And it feels like they capture the essence of what it could have been like to be, in the Battle of Thermopylae or stuff like that, fighting with the Spartans. Really, really cool album. I really liked what I heard from it.
Yeah. And if you listen to the song Sparta Part 2, actually the second track on there, there's like a mandolin in there. It's so fucking cool. It's like it could be like a theme, like a movie soundtrack for like the fucking Spartacus show BC, or like fucking that Russell Crowe movie. What the fuck was that? Gladiator. Cool as fuck. I tell you what, I fucking cranked this album in this house shitload of times this year. You check it out?
I checked out quickly a few times. I throw it out. I like it. I mean, totally digging it. There's a few times it was too much Viking-ness, I would say.
Okay.
I don't know. Maybe it was just the timing, but overall, I mean, I'm definitely gonna go back to this. There was a band, was it? Not these guys. Was there a band kind of like this?
Amon Amarth, are you thinking of them?
Maybe, I don't know.
The music is of that vein, but you don't have the vocals on this.
No, and that's why I like this.
They're very clean vocals. Guy's got a fucking great voice. Like I said, I have no idea where these guys are from. I couldn't name a guy in a fucking band. There's not really, I don't think,
Joseph.
Can't really look, yeah, John Smith, I think his fucking name is, fucking singer. But very cool, though. Fucking absolutely fucking love it. So there's our 10, 9, and 8. So what we will do now is we'll do a quick gem song, and then we'll get into our 7 and 6 one. So our gem song this week is going to be, it's going to be a live version from Iron Maiden from the 2010 From Fear to Eternity Best of Maiden 1990 to 2010. And it's going to be our buddy Bruce Dickinson singing a Blaze Bayley song. It is called Man on the Edge. And Dylan's going to play it right now.
All right. It's a story about a briefcase, a lunch, and a man on the edge. The
All right, we're back. Hope you guys enjoyed a little Iron Maiden live there. Man on the Edge with our buddy Bruce Dickinson singing that. Really cool version of it. And we're going to skip the hidden gems this week. We're going to forego them, and we're going to get right back into our albums. We'll do the number 7 and number 6. So we're going to go in reverse. So I'll go first, and we'll go back around the table this time, just to mix it up a little bit. So my number 7, this album, I was really, really excited about this album coming out. When it came out, I got it and I put it on, and for some reason I'm like, oh man, it didn't hit me. But then I'm like, you know what, I'm just gonna give it another shot. So the very next listen I put it on was fucking, I don't know what happened. It was, I don't know if it was a KK's Priest thing or what it was, or if I just wasn't in the mood for it at the time. But when I threw this on, I was like, holy fuck, the second time around. And it's the new Halloween album, self-titled, fucking absolutely fantastic. It's long, it's like an hour and 13 minutes, and it goes by fucking like that. Starts out with Out for the Glory. But the thing is too, it's got the both singers singing it. And they go back and forth on the songs, and they do the harmonies and everything like that. Dylan, I don't know if you listen to this or not. There are so many cool fucking time changes and fucking shredding on this album. It's like for me, this is if they shut down after this album, I'd be like, they ended on a fucking top note. Fucking songs on this album, ones that stand out for me: Fear of the Fallen, Best Time, Mass Pollution, Indestructible is fucking fantastic. There's a song called Robot King. It's got time changes up the fucking ass. Song called Skyfall. It's like 12 minutes long. It is such a fucking fantastic song. It is epic of an epic song. It is just absolutely fantastic. And this is one, I know Sonny busts. He says, hell no, Ween. And those guys in our text group bust me mercilessly about these guys. But I'll tell you what. If you like power metal, if you like hard, heavy, like European metal with great harmonies, great time changes, fantastic fucking guitar playing, throw this album on. You will not be sorry. Vocally, fucking fantastic. Songwriting is great. And I can't mention enough how awesome the time changes are, and the soloing between I think there's 3 guitar players in the band now, and they utilize these guys like fucking Iron Maiden does. It's just absolutely fucking amazing album. Halloween, self-titled. Like I said, it's a long album, but it goes by in a fucking blink of an eye. You're like, holy shit, that album's done already. And I picked up the vinyl of it too. It's just fucking absolutely fantastic. I don't know if you guys got to check it out. BC, did you get to listen to this one at all or no?
Nothing after is need to dive into it more. Because there was parts I was really getting into, and there was other parts I was like, but I don't know about you, I have to sit down and actually be in the zen to take an album totally in. Stuff's going on, I'm listening to it, you know what I mean? So,
but there's shit that catches your ear though.
There's a lot of parts that caught my ear, but and then I missed some part, you know what I mean?
Right.
You have to. That's my downfall on this one. I did not get to scope it out enough for what I want to.
All right.
I definitely will, because I dug these guys from back in the day.
Yeah. Solid album. Production is fantastic on it too. Gary Holt, what do you got?
Yeah, I think I'm in the same boat as BC. I listened to the first track, and it's definitely Halloween. If you're a fan of the band, you're gonna like this album. And I'm a fan of the band. They're just they're the type of epic metal that, like, you have to be, just like BC said, you have to be like in the mood and ready to process it, and because otherwise you could overload from it and just kind of short circuit. So I wasn't able to really sit down and give it its due diligence, but I really did like what I heard. The guitar work of the 3 guitarists are really good. They do the harmonies really well. The guitar harmonies are really on point from the stuff that I heard. So it's a really good album, I could tell, but I need to dive a little deeper.
All right, so listen. So let's make a pact. If there's an album that we talked about tonight, or that's on the rest of the list that someone else has, make an effort to listen to it before the next one. I will listen to DT for the next episode, and actually, I've listened to one that Dylan has coming up too as well. So okay, so BC, what do you got for number 7?
Number 7 on my list. I'm gonna go with the End Machine. This came out in April. Phase 2, which they should rename the album Phase 1, because this should have been the album they came out with. We talked about this many a times. Like, I don't even know what the first album was called.
Just End Machine, I think.
Oh yeah, but the hype for that first album,
They overhyped it. They
you
over
thought
fucking hyped
they were
it.
going to change the world, and there was going to be world peace, and this is going to be the band that played for the world. But the first album, don't get me wrong, I've gone back to a few times, and it's good, but not compared to this. When they came out, I was a little nervous. I said, fuck it.
Gotta give him a shot.
Give it a shot, and I put it on, and I was like, damn, this is what the first album should have been. It just has the song structures, the writing, the lyrics. It has actual good guitar riffs. And it just, the drumming on it, and I'm drawing a blank. Steve Brown, thank you. Wild Mick Brown's brother, because Mick Brown retired before this came out. So he put his little brother on here, and it's got the songs. And I mean, Robert Mason to me sounds even better on this song. I don't know what. I mean, it comes out Blood Money, bam. I love that song. Plastic Heroes, Crack the Sky. I mean, maybe a skipper on the song, but overall, it's not. This is a standout album for me this year. Maybe because I was just so like surprised by it and relieved that it was actually what it should be.
Yeah, I remember hearing the first album and hearing you guys talk about the build up to it, and I remember like listening to it. I'm like, yeah, that was okay. It's like nothing to write home about. I definitely liked what I heard more on this album from what I heard. I checked out a couple songs today. I thought that it was more along the lines of what I initially imagined the band to be than the first album. And I think that it's a better showcase of their talents. And I think it's produced a little better, too. Like, it doesn't sound
I think Jeff Pilson produced the both of them.
Which is interesting because
I'm not 100% sure.
it feels like a different type of production.
He
I don't know
plays
if
bass
it's
on it, right?
Yeah.
I think he produced the both of them.
I don't know if it's the time change or like they recorded it a little different, but I just like how this one sounds a little better. It feels like an upgrade in every sense of the word.
Yeah.
So
yeah, for me, and you know, Robert Mason's my guy. He's my Jeff Scott Soto like the Sonny. That first album, I was like, what the fuck? I'm like, I mean, they overhyped it, but I overhyped it in my own mind as well because I'm like, God damn, Robert Mason it's like docking with fucking Robert Mason.
Docking with the band, a guy that can sing.
Yeah, and I was so excited about it, and then it was such a letdown. But when this came out, The Rising, that's just an intro, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
But when Blood and Money hit, I'm like, this first song is better than the whole first fucking album. So it's already ahead of the first album. And like you said, Crack the Sky, Plastic Heroes, Dark Divide, they're songs. They're good. It doesn't feel... The first one felt thrown together, if that makes any sense. But this one feels more of a band situation. Maybe they, I don't even think they even played these shows for the first album, but it feels more like a band than the first album did. And this blows away by fucking miles the first End Machine album. So, great pick. I mean, this one, for me, I didn't get to spend a whole ton of time with it, so it wasn't really on my radar for one of my picks for these 2 episodes, but great pick, because I kind of figured you would be talking about this album anyway, so at least it gave me an opportunity to make some comments on it. So, but and if you liked the first one, you're gonna actually fucking go insane over the fucking second one. So absolutely check it out for sure. What's BB got for number 7?
Number 7, BB's got our boy Todd LaTorre with "Rejoice in the Suffering." I checked out a couple tracks from this. Really good, different than the Queensryche stuff for sure. The first track was real heavy. There was a softer track that was also really different. But I like hearing him do a different type of vocal tone for this album, because you hear him going more for the Jeff Tate type of sound with some of the Queensryche stuff, but this one he's more able to kind of do what he wants, and I really appreciate listening to that. So I thought it was a really good pick from the stuff that I've heard so far, at least.
I did not really get to scope this out, because I remember it first came out, I heard a little bit of it, like,
We talked about it
and then you were going, but you mentioned, what, a week ago?
about 2 weeks ago.
You said, oh, no, I said, you know what, I got to get back into that, and I just did not get around to it. Because I'm a fan of,
He's great. He was
great
cool as fuck
vocalist.
on the cruise. Fucking, still can't believe he's a fucking smoker. Fucking baffles me. Fucking baffles me. But, yeah, and actually, it was after the cruise that I'm like, you know what, I'm going to give Todd's album another shot.
That must be it.
And I did. And I think that at my first listen or two, it wasn't what I expected, but then it's another one that it just kind of, like the pieces, the gears meshed. It kind of fell in, and it's just him and another guy doing the whole album.
Oh, interesting.
He plays drums, and I think the other guy plays bass and guitar.
That's pretty cool.
And so I think it's just
the last Queensryche
yeah.
album.
So it's just really the two guys doing the album. It's really good. There's just not a lot of low end on this album. There's not a lot of bass on it that you can really hear really well, but it's good. It's a lot better than I initially thought it was, and so it's definitely worth a check out. And it made my top 20, and then that's how much it went up after listening to it and just kind of putting it in. Okay, he's not trying to be Queensryche now, and it's its own thing. So it was really good. So I definitely enjoyed that more. So what do you got for your number 7, Dylan?
My number 7, this was an album that had to grow on me. It was one that when I first listened to it, I'm like, this isn't really what I want from the band. But the more I listened to it, the more I got what they were trying to do with it, and the more I appreciated it. So the number 7 album for me is from a band that I never talk about ever on this podcast, Foo Fighters, Medicine at Midnight. And I kind of want to do a twofer if I can, where I want to have the Medicine at Midnight as well as their Bee Gees cover album, Hail Satin, as kind of a twofer for my number 7, because I think they pair really nicely together.
Is it the DGs?
The DGs. They go under the DGs for Dave Grohl, which took me forever to figure out. But I think I didn't get Medicine at Midnight until I listened to the DGs, because they're going for more of a 70s vibe, like a dance, like kind of rock poppy thing with Medicine at Midnight that I wasn't a fan of, because I like the hard rock Foo Fighters that you get from, Color and the Shape, and from, like the songs like All My Life. Like that's the Foo Fighters that I like. That, of course, Wasting Life is my favorite album from them. But some of the songs on here are really good. I really love Cloud Spotter. That's a cool, nice, groovy song. No Son of Mine's an awesome song. I like Waiting on a War. That one's pretty cool. Medicine at Midnight's good. Chasing Birds is not good. And I don't like Shame Shame. But once you listen to their cover of the DGs, Medicine at Midnight sinks in for me, because they do cover of You Should Be Dancing, which song kicks ass to begin with, and then having the Foo Fighters cover it is just amazing. But this is a very different album for them. So if you're into hard rock Foo Fighters, this is probably not the album to go to, but I like that they branched out. And it just feels like a fun album that they wanted to put out there and have a good time with. And they put out 2 albums this year, so I can't complain about a lack of new content. So Foo Fighters, Medicine at Midnight / DG's Hail Satin is my number 7 pick.
All right, so yeah, I threw this on. I was like,
Yeah,
because I'm not a huge Foo Fighters fan. Not that they're bad. I never really.
yeah,
It's not a go-to.
But what I like from Foo Fighters,
yeah. The Screaming Dave.
Screaming Dave.
Screaming Dave.
I
love
that. And I put this on. I was kind of like, whoa.
That's
Not Screaming Dave.
And
not
I'm
Screaming
listening
Dave.
to it. I have down here different than I'm used to.
Yeah.
And I mean, maybe that's it. Maybe, I mean, it's like you said, they're branching out, doing some different stuff. That's cool. But it totally was not what I envisioned from them.
Yeah.
But I mean, hey, for what it is, it's not bad. But I mean, not what I thought it would be.
For sure.
Yeah. I honestly did not listen to one of those Foo Fighters songs from the Medicine one.
Yeah, Medicine at Midnight.
That I didn't listen to not one note of that. But I will comment on the DG stuff though.
Yeah.
They 1 through 5 they do You Should Be Dancing, Night Fever, Tragedy, Shadow Dancing, More Than One. Isn't Shadow Dancing? Isn't that an Andy Gibbs song?
Yeah, it's an Andy Gibbs
Okay.
song.
It's fucking fantastic.
That's great. Yeah.
It's fucking great. I put that on, and your mom was in the car last week. We went, and we had your mom had an appointment, so we went, and she's like, "This is really good. This is really good." So it was better than hearing, "What the fuck is this?"
Yeah.
And she's like, "Who?" I'm like, "This is the Foo." She goes, "This is the Foo Fighters." I'm like, "Yeah." I'm like, so they do it justice. I don't know if you checked them out, BC. I know you're a big Saturday Night Fever guy.
Yeah, we listened to You Should Be Dancing that one time after the podcast.
Yeah, it's good. I
yeah.
like it. You know, they did it justice. And I would go to see them again live with hopes that they would do this with a big disco ball coming down and shit. That'd be fucking awesome.
I believe they did cover You Should Be Dancing live a couple times.
You know, I mean, it's cool. I like it, but I can't speak to the rest of it. I have, like I said, I have not heard one note of the rest of that. So if we get tickets to go see them, I'll check it out.
Okay, sounds good.
All right. So we're back to BC for number 6. So your last pick for the night. And what do you got, BC?
I was up in the air with this, but I threw it in the list. And this is a band to me that is always a no-brainer. You just love them. Night Ranger with their newest album from August. And the band played on. I mean, a lot of people, I read online, a lot of people don't like this album. I don't know why.
Mr. Fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, people are... A lot of people, I don't know how to put this, I mean, are living in the past. It's not 1984. It's 2021.
They don't want to hear anything new.
And they don't want to hear
they're
nothing
missing
new.
out.
But, I mean, I've always been a fan of these guys. I mean, to me, they're the no-brainer band. They come out with whatever. I'm buying it. Because, first of all, it's going to kick ass in one way or another. Maybe not fucking ripping your face off rock and roll, but it's going to be great. I mean, there's so many good songs on this album. Bring It On Home is a good one. Breakout, which I think was the first single. Hard to Make It Easy. And I mean, that's got a different vibe for Night Ranger, but they
really good.
They do it. And another killer song I like with the killer soul is Monkey.
Oh, I knew you were going to say that.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, there's some mellower tunes, but it's they're a mature band now. They're not.
But it's a typical Night Ranger album.
It's a Night
Listen
Ranger
to the
album.
rest of the stuff. You have the hard rock and stuff, and you have the more mid-tempo shit on every Night Ranger album
Every
from
Night
the
Ranger.
first album till now.
It's not 1984. They're not going to play Don't Tell Me You Love Me or, You Can Still Rock in America. I'm not saying that they can't do those songs.
But there's rockin' shit on there that's
There's
like
rockin'
that.
shit
though.
on there, though. But no.
Fuck
Don't-
these fucking people.
I get a little aggravated, and I always tell Steve this a lot of times, is like, these people now are living like that did not listen to this music back when the music was in its heyday, but is listening to it now.
Right.
And they don't want to hear this shit or
Anything different. I don't want to hear anything different.
And it pisses me off. Okay, Dylan.
Yeah, I had not really checked this album out until this week. I don't know why. I just kind of put it on the back burner. But this album kicks ass. That's a really solid album that you wouldn't necessarily upfront know that it's Night Ranger off the bat. But the songs are just really catchy. They kick ass. I think that they still got it. Like
Okay.
these are songs that don't have that 80s sound, but they have
Not the 80s.
they have a you could tell they've evolved and they're doing something different, and I really like that. And it's good music. It's not shit. Like they're doing songs that they're heavy, they're great guitar work. The vocals are different from the 80s because they're not in the 80s anymore, like you said. But I think this is a really solid album from these guys. It's a really, 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 really good album, and I really enjoyed it. And I'm sorry I didn't listen to it sooner, but fantastic.
Yeah, this album just missed my top 10 because it's another one that I figured BC would have been picking too. So I know I'd get to talk about it anyways. I love these guys for the shit that they've done in the past, but I also like them that they've been solid putting out albums. You're not going to get an album from an album a year like you used to from any band. I don't give a shit who the fuck it is. It's just not a thing anymore. But you got an album. This came out in 2021. You have Don't Let It from 2017. 2014, you have High Road. You have somewhere in California, 2011. So these guys have been consistently putting out new music. And I respect them for that they're not just relying on their
just
back
putting out albums
catalog.
every so many years. They're touring their asses off. They play constantly.
And they are. They're playing constantly. But and the thing is, they're not putting out new album and not playing anything from it. They played what'd they play? I've seen them do Bring It On Home, and I've seen them do Breakout from this. And if you guys have not heard it yet, go back. Myself and Hoover did an interview with Brad Gillis a couple months ago. It was great. Brad was cool as fuck. Showed us his guitars, because we did it. It's audio only on here, but we did a Zoom interview with him, and he was showing us his guitars and his very first guitar that he ever had. The story's in there, so check it out. It's fucking absolutely amazing. Super cool guy, and like BC said, like the songs are good. And actually, I just took my wife's vehicle to go pick up our dinner tonight. Cold as December came on. Dance came on. Like kind of a more mellow song. But like BC said, that song, Monkey, absolutely fucking tears it up. And Carrie Kelly, amazing addition to the band. Eric Levy, keyboard player, amazing addition to the band. You see these guys live, they are solid as fuck. One of the best hard rock bands out there playing. And this is a band that, like, a lot of bands you go and they play their hit, you're like hard rock guys like us are like, oh, it's the ballad, whatever the fuck. For me, Night Ranger has no piss songs. There's not a song that they play that I want to miss. For as many times as I've heard Sister Christian and Goodbye, they're great. When they do Goodbye, people, the end of that song, they tear it the fuck up on that song. I'm still not a huge fan when Kelly comes out from behind the drums and sings. I'm not a huge fan of that, but Goodbye, it's fine. But for Sister Christian, just stay back there. But I'm not. They're a band. I'm not sick of the hits, and I'm ecstatic when these guys put out a new album, and absolutely fucking love it. So check it out, Night Ranger and the band playing on.
This is the one of the few bands that Steve actually yells play the hits.
I do. I don't care because they're great. They're fantastic. Mm-hmm. This is a band that my wife went with me to see them, and like she knew almost every song.
Because they have.
Although she was getting worn out on Night Ranger, I played like 3 times during the day at the house before we left, and then we played it on the way down, and then they played it live. She's like, "Don't play it on the way home." I'm like, oh, I really want to hear it again.
Don't play it on the way home.
But great pick. Well, give us BB's last pick then, Dylan.
BB's last pick is Dead Daisies' Holy Ground. We had a great conversation about this in our text group. I am a huge Dead Daisies fan, but I prefer John Corabi to Glenn Hughes on vocals. I think that there's just a different feel to the band with Glenn Hughes. It's good, but I like their other albums with John Corabi a little better. And production-wise, too, this album sounded a little different to me in a way that I wasn't as big a fan of. I don't know. I can't really describe it, but like if I listen to what's the album right before this, Burn It Down. Mm-hmm. Like that album, the production sounds real crisp and stuff, whereas this production on this one sounds a little muddier, a little like less clear, less clean. But it's not a bad album. I miss John Corabi.
I'm on Camp Dylan at this one. I mean, I love Glenn Hughes.
Yeah,
I've seen him live.
I love him too.
He was awesome.
Fucking awesome. But I think Corabi just fits the Dead Daisies that much better. He gives it that, you know what I mean?
There's a grit to it.
There's a grit to it that you don't have now. I'm not saying that the new stuff is bad. It's just that, personally, and I've been a Corabi guy since he replaced Vince Neil, and everybody did like that, and I liked it. Mm-hmm. But I don't know, maybe because I'm got a little Corabi in my heart. Corabi.
All right, so BB and Hoover did a really cool interview with John Corabi a couple episodes ago, probably, I don't know, maybe 10 episodes ago. So go back and check that out. It was really cool. And he has listened to the episode. He has ties to this area, which is crazy, northeastern Pennsylvania. I'm not going to comment on the album because on the next episode, I'll tell these guys how wrong they are.
Figured that was coming.
All right. So, or my take on it.
Well, and I just want to say that you brought up a really great analogy where it's like John Corabi and Glenn Hughes. It's like the David Lee Roth and Sammy Hagar comparison. And you're like, because Dave is always good. And I'm like, yeah, so John Corabi is the better of the two in the band. It's just like, I don't know, like Glenn has really great pipes. Mm-hmm. Like, he is a fantastic singer. I don't think it goes as well with the Dead Daisies.
Pen speak.
Okay.
Like, I don't. It's not, I think it's good. It's kind of like how you weren't a fan of James Durbin with Quiet Riot. Like, he's a fantastic singer, a great frontman. But, like, you didn't think he
better
really...
than Shortino.
Yeah, like, you didn't really think he... That's me with Glenn Hughes. Like, I don't think he fits as well.
All right. I'll talk about it on the next one.
No, I know. I'm trying to beat you.
Not working. All right, so my number 6 is this album. Absolutely, I had no idea it was coming out. I heard it was coming out like maybe a week before it was coming out, and I'm like, what the fuck is this? Smith Kotzen. Adrian Smith, Richie Kotzen. That's like me and Pooney actually getting along. Because that's his other love interest is Richie Kotzen, and Adrian Smith is my guy in Iron Maiden. If you said, name 2 guys that are going to put an album together and put it out, never in a million years would I have said, probably Adrian Smith and Richie Kotzen. No fucking way. No goddamn way. And even... when I heard it was coming out, I'm like, what is this going to fucking sound like? Because I know Adrian from Iron Maiden, but I know him from his solo stuff, his ASAP stuff, and he did that other crazy band. I can't think of what the fucking name of it is right now. But, and then he played on Bruce's solo stuff, on Chemical Wedding and Accident of Birth. He played on those as well. And I would have never in a million years thought that you would have seen an album with Richie Kotzen and Adrian Smith doing. And it's weird because their wives actually put them together because their wives are friends. And they started going out and going to dinner and stuff like that. And they talked it. And they used to have, I think Adrian Smith always had a party around Christmas time and invited all his musical friends and shit like that. And they'd fucking jam at his house. And I guess it was born from that. And I was like, what? This is the album this year that I was the most fucking nervous about. I'm like, I'm just gonna be so devastated if this album sucks. This album is fucking amazing. I didn't on the other albums that Adrian Smith plays on. The one album there's some guy singing shit, but he sings on the ASAP one, and it was okay. But production back then is nowhere near what it is now. He's got a really soulful voice. I was surprised at how much I liked his vocals. Richie Kotzen's vocals are fantastic. Winery Dogs, we've talked about him a ton of times. And their guitar styles were so, like Winery Dogs is not Iron Maiden. And Iron Maiden is not the Winery Dogs. So I'm thinking, how the fuck is this going to just hit together here? And I think they knocked it out of the park. Opens up with taking my chances. Their vocal harmonies are fantastic. And the 2 of them played the whole album. They switched off playing bass. Richie played the drums. I think Nico McBrain played drums on one song maybe. But it was a true collaboration of those 2 guys. They split playing bass. They both played guitars. Excuse me. Their guitar styles really meshed. Adrian had a great blues feel to what he played. Richie, and I'm still blown away that Richie does not play with a guitar pick. That just fucking blows me away. But the songs are fantastic. The songs are good. Taking My Chances, Running, Scars. It's a slower, bluesier one. But those guys absolutely kill it on guitar. And what made me think of, when listening to this album, is it made me think of Gary Moore. His blues stuff that he put out. There's some heavy blues stuff. There's some slower blues stuff. And it's because the one album he put out was actually called Scars. And I think maybe that's how I associated it. But I think that Adrian Smith really had that Gary Moore type blues feeling to his playing. Some people, excellent song, Solar Fire, You Don't Know Me. That's one that I kind of on. But I'll tell you what, the album's not even an hour. It's 47 minutes. And I was just blown away. And I think that my skepticism or my worrying about how an album is going to fucking be. But I was really nervous that this was not going to be what I thought. I didn't know what I thought it was going to be. This isn't it, but it fucking blew me away. And I'm sure you guys have probably listened to this album. You guys out there, if you have not checked it out, it's fucking amazing. The production is fantastic on it. Those guys just recorded it together. They did a couple video shoots together in one day. They both played the whole album. It's just absolutely amazing to me. What do you think, Don?
I didn't get as much of a chance to listen to this one, but I really enjoyed what I heard. Like you said, this isn't a match that you would be like, yeah, this is exactly who I think would go together. But they do go really well together. It's almost like Iommi Hughes in a way, in terms of, like, you don't picture them in the same room, but it does make a lot of sense once it comes together, because they kind of do have very similar kind of musical backgrounds in a way, a little bit. They come at it from, I mean, they end up in different areas, because you got the metal and then you got Richie Kotzen doing his thing, but they're very complementary styles. Like you wouldn't. It's like one of those things where the freak accident combos, like peanut butter and jelly. You're like, I don't know if those would, you got chocolate in my peanut butter, you got peanut butter, that kind of thing. That I think it works surprisingly well. And didn't they just come out with another EP as well?
Yeah, an EP just came out.
Yeah.
So
Called Better Days, it's called.
It's cool that they're...
And Mike Portnoy plays in the last song.
Oh, very cool. It's cool that they're continuing to work together, because it seems like it's a very good match from what I've heard so far. So good pick.
I would love to see these guys play live. I'd pull a BC. I'd fly to fucking California to see these guys play in a club. What do you think, BC?
It'd be a cool club show for sure.
Oh, got it.
I know Poonie to go with me.
Definitely.
I'll pick him up and
doesn't
Columbus.
Richie also have a restraining order out on Sonny?
We can disguise him. We'll shave his head.
Okay.
Shake his head.
No, God.
Imagine that.
Put a ski mask over it.
Yeah, because that won't draw attention.
They'll definitely let him in.
I'm with Steve on this one. When this first was you first heard about this, you're like, huh. Like, that's kind of like hot sauce and, mayonnaise going together. But, it came out, and I was like, oh. And I didn't say this earlier, but I've been scoping out a lot of Richie Kotzen's catalog of his solo stuff, which I'm very surprised how much of it I like. Not that I don't mean that he's bad, you know what I mean? Like, I knew what it would be,
Right.
and how much it is, and I do like it. So I mean, this album is probably, I would say probably the most surprise out of our list so far tonight. I would definitely put on my surprise list that how much it grew on me. At first, I liked it, but the more I listened to it, I've probably listened to it about 3 times now. And I think I ordered. It's one of my growing list of vinyl that's out there somewhere.
Oh, you didn't get yours yet? Yeah. Actually, mine, I was surprised. Mine was one of the ones that actually came pretty quick. But, I mean, I ordered it the first day I was able. But, I mean, that doesn't mean shit anymore, though, truthfully.
But like you said, just vocally, I mean, it's surprisingly how, I don't mean, this sounds bad. It's surprising how good it is.
Right.
At least
because they don't seem a likely pairing. I think that's the main thing for me. And the thing is, too, when I was going through my albums, narrowing it down, I'm like, all right, did Smith Kotzen really make the cut here for the top 10?
You mentioned it quickly. What is the new thing now? Because I seen it, I'm like, no, I can't. I wanted to kind of.
It's a 4-song EP of new songs. Okay. Portnoy plays in the last one, but if you listen to the last song, it sounds like a Winery Dog song. He definitely throws the Winery Dog feel more into that last song, but the other 3 songs are in the vein of the album.
Okay. I didn't listen to it because I wanted to stick with this.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And when I was narrowing these down, I'm like, is Smith Kotzen really going to make the cut? I'm like, you know what? Boom, headphone time. Threw the good headphones on. I'm like, oh yeah. This is not fucking going to not be in my top 10.
The headphones make a big difference. Yeah. I don't care.
And I was just like, fuck. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Years back,
going.
I would say, I can play the album. But
Yeah.
you play the album with that one. Anyway.
Yeah. So, all right. So there's our 6 to 10 before. Oh, you didn't do your last one. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I know this one.
And you
Really?
specifically asked if I was going to do this album.
Oh, that's
and-
right. That's right. I'm sorry.
Wow.
See, but it took a long time for me to get to that point tonight, though. Usually it's a little earlier.
Yeah.
He finished up. He's finished up tonight with it.
Yeah.
Okay, Gary Holt, finish up.
Okay, here we go.
Here we
So, my number 6 album, when I say it was not on my radar, I mean that in every sense of the word. So, a little background. I am a big Marvel fan. I like the comics. I'm a little burnt out on the movies. And there was a video game coming out of Guardians of the Galaxy. It's a very popular team at this point because, the movies were very successful and they're known for doing their, having a lot of good songs in it because one of the main characters, Peter Quill, was taken from Earth in the 80s and he has a lot of 80s songs on his playlist. And I knew that the regular soundtrack was going to be really good. But what I didn't know was that there was going to be an original album where the senior sound designer of the game crafted this fictional band, this fictional 80s metal band, and made a whole 10-song album of their songs. And the album is Space Rider by the fictional band Star-Lord. I had heard that they did a full album for this, and I'm like, oh, I'm sure it's like something stupid. So I put it on, and I was blown away by how good it is, because you're not expecting there to be that much effort put into like a fictional band that like maybe they'll write 1 or 2 songs for the game and that's it. But they wrote these 10 songs. They feel like they come right from the decade, from the 80s. They have awesome shredding guitars. The vocals are really good. They got almost a House of Lords feel to me in some cases, and it's just much better than it has any right to be. It's like Zero to Hero is a great opening song. All for One's really great. I like a bit of good, bit of bad, a bit of good, a bit of bad. It's just really catchy songs that you could just put on your van that's painted with the giant space dragon on the side of it and put it in your Walkman and jam down the highway smoking some dope. It's a good album. The album cover is really awesome. It surprised me. It really did. So it had to make my top 10 list. The fictional band Star-Lord with the album Space Rider.
Like I said, I saw this on the list. I'm like, okay, Dale Knows brings that new element to it. So I was figuring it's going to be
Different.
a modern band or a modern rock or whatever you want to consider it nowadays. And I remember putting this on and I forget what I was doing, and there was quite a few times I was like,
What was that?
I stopped a few times. It stopped me from doing what I was doing, and I stopped listening to it a few times. I was surprised. This
Yeah.
was the surprise of the episode tonight, out of all the albums that I liked.
Mm-hmm.
I maybe because I was. I don't know what I'm trying. I don't know how to.
You're expecting it to suck?
No, I expected it to be like
Not what it was.
not what it was.
Yeah.
Exactly. I
Like a Foo
expected-
Fighters clone or something.
No, like I don't know how to say it. There's some bands he brings to the table. It's like, ooh, it's a little different. I was expecting that maybe.
Yeah.
And I put this on. I was like I said, I stopped quite a few times. Like, damn, and I hit the back button to hear it again. I'm like, I really really dug this album, and it's not even a real band.
Yep.
I was like, that's funny. I was like,
Another band you'll never see live.
Yeah.
no, I mean, it totally enjoyed this album. It's catchy. It has good vocals. I mean, I was just surprised in the night.
Yeah.
I also listened to this album for the first time today. And I'm like, wow. It's not what I thought it was going to
No.
fucking be.
I had the same exact reaction. I
can't place the vocals. The vocals remind me exactly of someone, but I can't place it. It's driving me insane. It's really good. There's some really cool shit. Ghost is really cool.
Ghost
is fucking really cool. It's missing something. I don't know what it is. I really like it. I will absolutely listen to it again and again and again probably. But I don't know if it's in the production that it's a little stale or the guitars are a little flat maybe. It's really don't let me turn this out. I'm not trying to turn anybody off to listen to this album. It's really good. The vocals are cool, but I know it's driving me insane of who this vocalist reminds me of. And it was cool. I'm like, for something that you didn't know what it was going to be, it was like, whoa, this is pretty fucking good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it might just be a little production thing with me, that it sounds a little stale or flat, maybe guitar-wise. But, like, you have Andy Sneap produce this fucking album? Holy fuck.
Yeah, I think part of it is, like, it's supposed to be in the background of the game, so it's not going to be, like, the crispest thing ever. And I also think they were trying to emulate some of that 80s feel to it, because it's supposed to be an in-universe...
It has that production feel to it.
It's supposed to be an
it's
in-universe...
not as crisp as I would like it.
Yeah, it's supposed to be an in-universe band from the 80s. This is an album that was released in the 80s.
And it's supposed to be the background music.
Yeah, well, yeah, like, because there's that, but there's also, like the main character will put on songs as, like, the soundtrack. So you got songs like Kickstart My Heart, Holding Out for a Hero, Never Gonna Give You Up, Don't Fear the Reaper, Turn Up the Radio. Actually, the game opens with that, which is really cool. Rock Till You Drop. You know, I Ran So Far Away. I Love It Loud's on there, Dad.
Must be
the final
song.
What do you think the last boss battle song is? It's the final.
It's got to be like a Sabbath song.
It's the final countdown.
It's got to be. Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
But yeah, they like.
Another surprise.
I didn't fucking get myself killed so the song got stopped.
Yeah, but it's a lot better.
It was
than
good though.
Yeah.
It was not what I expected. I don't know what I expected, but that wasn't it. And it was good though. The songs were good. Like that Ghost song, I'm like, wow, that was really good.
That's really good. I like that.
They put in a lot more effort than they needed to for it, I think.
Yeah, because you used this as a gem or something.
I did.
A while back.
Yeah, because I heard
I know
talking
that
about
name.
it. Because I hadn't played the game yet, and I heard people talking about it.
And I think
They're like, "This album's awesome," and I'm like, oh, "I'll give it a shot." And it was awesome.
When you
It was
mentioned
worth a shot. Yeah.
You mentioned it with the video game. I was kind of like,
Yeah, because like the video game soundtrack, like there are a lot of great video game soundtracks, but like you're not expecting this kind of soundtrack for video games. Like an 80s metal soundtrack, like maybe for a game like Brutal Legend, because like that's about like a roadie.
Because remember, like we used to play the NASCAR game with that same riff over and over again. It was like that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
was fucking
It was Snake Sable doing the NASCAR one.
that one, but there was also Flirt with Disaster.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, Flirt with
Yeah,
Disaster.
This is a 500-mile race. I'm gonna put the car in the wall in the fucking song.
Flirting with Disaster.
So sorry for booting you out on that one though, Dylan.
That's okay.
So there's our 10 to 6.
Yep.
And real quick, are there any live albums this year that caught you guys? I know there weren't a really lot put out there this year, but were there any that caught your guys' ears?
I liked Armor Saint when they released the
Symbol of Salvation Live.
Symbol of
Yeah,
Salvation Live.
that's on my list.
I totally love that album to begin with, and I mean, it sounds good. I don't know. Maybe I was expecting. I like it. It's just, it's lacking a little something.
Oh, interesting.
I'm not sure what it is.
I don't like the production on the last 2 Armored Saint live albums.
I guess it's.
I don't know. The Carpe Noctem one, the production, I'm sorry, Joey Vera, it was lacking.
It's just.
It sounded like a decent
I'm a
bootleg.
diehard Armored Saint guy, and
yeah.
it was just lacking that little spice of some kind.
I guess I'm not as picky as you guys. I really liked the Symbol of Salvation Live production. It sounds good.
I'm gonna have to give it another listen.
John Bush
and I can
sounds
honestly
fantastic.
say I haven't. Like I'm going off the Carpe Noctem one. I haven't. It's actually sitting. It's right here somewhere. I really have. I've listened to it once, really quick. So but it was not when I had a chance to really check it out. Mm-hmm. Any other ones catch you, Dylan?
Yeah, I also put on Dream Theater's Lost Not Forgotten Master Puppets. They re-released that. It was, and like Dream Theater did a really cool thing where they had actually a lot of Lost Not Forgotten releases where they had a bunch of different live shows that they had in the vault, and they officially released them to streaming and on vinyl, which I thought was a really cool way to get through the pandemic, to release stuff if they're not currently touring. It was cool to go back into the vault and release that kind of stuff for real, because I've always, for the longest time, I wanted an official release of their covers
of like the Master Puppets and Number of the Beast and all that.
Perfect
like,
Strangers, I think they did too, didn't they?
Live in Japan, they did.
Live in Japan. Ooh.
Like those kind of like those releases, because hearing Dream Theater cover these iconic albums, like that's awesome. So it's really cool that I was able to finally have that on my phone and check it out. So I really appreciate that they did that.
I've ordered it all on vinyl, but probably never see it tonight.
Oh, you didn't get
They
the
just-
RSA one yet?
No, I got that.
Okay.
At Dream Theater.
They just
Okay.
actually announced that they're putting out the Majesty demos next January. So
I didn't get the ones from this past year yet.
No.
And I got emailed last week that it's going to be like March of 23. I'm like,
oh, there you go.
I'm like,
March of 23.
yeah.
Holy shit!
For the Master Puppets one? Or that Demos one?
I forget
That's
it.
it. They're in hot demand.
I have
And
four.
so he's got so
I have
DT's
four of them
got so
ordered.
much shit floating in the air.
I have 4 DTs ordered. The Train of Thought with just the vocal,
Right.
no vocals, just the music. The Master Puppets, Live and something, and Images and Words. I mean, it's just they keep getting delayed. So they're saying they're going to come out with this in January. January what?
January of what? Yeah.
2024.
Yeah. What?
I'm sorry, 2022. Let's push back. I'm getting ahead of
A
myself.
couple of the albums, live albums I listened to, Kiss put out that off the soundboard from Live in Tokyo 2001.
Oh, I forgot about that.
It's with Ace and Eric Singer playing. Please, for the love of God, cut out Paul Stanley's fucking talking in between songs.
But that's
Good
not the real
God.
live experience, Dad.
Yeah,
I don't
Get a
care.
Talk.
Oh, it's fucking exhausting. It's fucking exhausting. Musically, it's pretty good. It's got Eric Singer playing on drums and Ace playing guitar. And the one that really hit me, my boys, Ailstorm, live in Tilburg. Fun album, fun band. I know I get ragged on a lot about these guys,
okay.
but I really like Ailstorm. So they
are here to
be good.
drink your
And like I
beer.
say, I'm going to bounce back a little bit on the Armored Saint because I really didn't get a chance to delve into the art to the not Rain of Fire, Symbol of Salvation live.
And that's a great album too. And
Oh,
Yeah,
great album.
it is.
I have to say,
And,
I didn't really delve into that album until we did that random albums episode, and it's a fantastic album.
And there was another live album that came out that I'm not going to talk about. That's going to hit my disappointing list of the year. Ooh. So hey, there's part 1, guys. Please appreciate you guys hanging with us. Check some of them albums out. We'll go around the table. We will wrap up. Mention your 5 albums again, and we'll get out of here. Go ahead, Dylan.
Yeah, so I'll say BB's albums first. Number 10 was Circus of Rock, Come One, Come All. Number 9 was Just Got Soto with Duets. Number 8 was Rough Cut with 3. Number 7 was Todd LaTorre with Rejoice in the Suffering. And number 6 was Dead Daisies, Holy Ground. And my albums were number 10, Black Veil Brides, The Phantom Tomorrow. Number 9, Accept, Too Mean to Die. Number 8, Dream Theater, A View from the Top of the World. Number 7, Foo Fighters, Medicine at Midnight / DG's Hail Satin. And number 6, Star-Lord, Space Rider. A lot of great albums. I'm really excited to talk about our top 5 because the top 5 are the albums that really vibed with me this year, that I really loved. And I'm sure that's the case with everybody else. And I'm really excited to see what everybody has as their top 5. See if we have some stuff that match. I know that some of you guys had some of my top 10 in your top 5, so that'll be cool to see. And you can listen to a selection of the songs from our top 10 part of this
Middle.
the middle part, except for Rough Cut, since that's not on.
It is
That's not on streaming. But all the other songs will be on there. We'll have some good selection there. And this was a really fun episode. I love looking back at the year and seeing what was good. And I'm really excited to also talk about the disappointing stuff in the next part of our end of the year episodes block.
Yeah, I mean, another episode. I mean, fun. I mean, when I first started getting my list together, I was like, somehow it seemed like so long ago, even though it was only this year. I mean, it's been a weird year. I mean, but so many good albums out there, and it was hard, kind of. I mean, my list, there's no like, this is my number 1. I just threw 10 of them in there out of my bucket full of albums I love this year. But another great list, and My list consisted of Resurrection Kings with Sky Gazer, KK's Priest, Sermon at the Center, The Treatment, Waiting for Good Luck. That's the story of my life. The End Machine, Phase 2, which should have been Phase 1. And Night Ranger with And the Band Played On.
All right. I love the year-end episodes. I love new music. I love when my bands that I love put out new music. I love when bands that I've never heard of and will never ever probably ever get a chance to see put out music, and it kicks my ass. I absolutely love it. There wasn't a pick here that we talked about tonight that I hated. There was one, actually, Dylan's, I think the one Foo Fighter one was the only one that I hadn't listened to anything from it at all, but I did listen to the DG's stuff, which was fucking fantastic. And I did hear a couple of songs that are on BB's compilation album. But I really like the stuff, the live albums. And that was kind of one thing that was a little disappointing for this year, that there wasn't a real lot of live albums out. But there weren't really a lot of live shows in 2020 for people to pull shows from. But I think it would have been a great time for a band to say, you know what, let's throw out a fucking album we recorded like in 1992 or something like that. You know what I mean? Like, let's just put something out fucking cool and different. Bands didn't do that, which is absolutely fine. But I love these, talking about these albums, and we did have a couple crossovers, and the only thing that is an absolute can't be interchanged in my top 5 is my top 5, but in no particular order except for number 1. Number 1 is in cement for me, number 1 of the year, but the rest of the top 5 have to be in my top 5 of the albums that I will talk about next week. And just fantastic. I hope that shit gets better out there, that we can when we do our wrap-up show for next year, that we will have more concerts to talk about. And I mean, I got to talk about my concerts because I saw the bulk of my concerts on Kiss Cruise 10, which we did a wrap-up show a couple weeks ago, and with our Kiss crew, with Rob, Chris, and Scott, we did that. Saw a ton of shows there: Night Ranger, Queensryche, Bruce Kulick, just Kiss. Isn't it amazing how I always say Kiss last? Kiss. But and hopefully we will be talking about Monsters of Rock cruise that myself, BC, Sonny, and Granza are going on. So we'll be Raging the Cage once again for 2022. Monsters of Rock. Alice Cooper is the headliner for that one, and I'm honestly interested in how that's gonna run with the Alice show, because you can only go to one. But I'm happy that they didn't pull a Kiss cruise where you have to pay extra to see the fucking headliner of the boat in the fucking theater, which that's a whole nother story. And we're right now trying to figure out the COVID stuff to get on that cruise and stuff. It ran rather smoothly for the Kiss cruise, so I hope it runs the same with the Monsters of Rock cruise. So you guys out there, check out, if you haven't checked out any of this stuff, give it a listen. Let us know. Guys, you don't have to give us your top 10 out there. Give us your top 5 albums for the year. So if you give us your top 5 albums between now and when part 2 comes out, we'll read your top 10 on the air, or top 10 or top 5, whatever you want to give us. We'll read them out and give you guys a shout out there. So, guys, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for bearing with us. I know we have not really had the full crew together a whole lot lately with the holidays and stuff going on, and with our jobs and stuff like that. Everything kind of gets all jumbled and stuff like that. And thank you, Dylan, for your diligence, because some of these episodes I would be able to record on my computer, but my computer's fucking smashed, and I vow to get it fixed at some point in my life.
It's broken.
But I can't really record, and Dylan won't lend me his computer to record. So
because you should fix your own.
You're not touching mine.
But he's on his third MacBook, and I'm still only on my first.
Oh.
I'm just throwing that out there. So, anyways, guys, thanks for tuning in. We really appreciate you guys. Listen to some new stuff. Get out of your rut of listening to the same shit all the time. Please listen to a new album once a week. Listen to an album all the way through once a week. Just take that time for yourself. Get away from everything. Say fuck everything. I'm going to listen to this album all the way through. Give it a shot. You will be happy that you did it. So, guys, thanks once again. We love you guys. Keep interacting with us. Give us a nice 5-star review on Apple Music. That would absolutely help us out tremendously. Be safe out there, guys. Be safe. Be cool. Don't be a dick. And we love you guys. We will see you next time. And there definitely will be a next time.